Hey listeners, you're listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. Grab some tea, a midnight snack, and cuddle up in bed as we dive deep into today's most popular fantasies, sci-fi, and mysteries. We're your hosts. I'm Lily.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Christy.
This season we'll be discussing a dark academia bully romance series known for its smutty content and often billed as a Harry Potter for adults. That's right, grab your Stardust. We're headed to Solaria.
Welcome to Zodiac Academy. Note to students, vampire bites, loss of limbs, or getting lost in the Wailing Woods will not count as a valid excuse for being late to class or this podcast.
In today's episode, we're discussing Book 4, Shadow Princess, chapters 17 through 32. It's Halloween and the heirs are finally enacting their great revenge plans. The situation with the shadows intensifies and a rift develops between Tory and Darcy for the first time in their lives.
Before we get into it, this is your warning for major spoilers ahead. This includes potentially all Zodiac Academy World books, including the Ruthless Boys and Darkmoor Penitentiary series. We might accidentally let spoilers slip for other popular romantasy book series as well.
Sorry in advance, like the books, this podcast is rated R. It's gonna get spicy. Also language, obviously, so be warned.
Also, a friendly reminder to please like, subscribe, and follow. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Great, so the last time we left off, Darcy was at pitball tryouts, Tory was MIA for cheerleading practice, and Orion disappeared to fetch her. And fetch her he does.
At least this section starts off with a bang.
Yes.
He just burst into her room.
He comes in and he's like, you have to come to practice.
Yeah. Can I just say, they never fix her door. She just automatically has a door again. They never mention it again. I was like, wait a minute, you have a key? I thought your key didn't work. What happened to your door?
Oh, that's right, because later Sophia has the key to her. Well,
It's just such a comical scene, though. Can you just imagine your version of Lance Orion kicking in the door and then being like, get your ass to cheerleading?
I mean, Orion can bust my door down anytime. I'm just saying.
maybe Orion fixed the door. You know, in his little hard hat, and his little,
Oh my god.
I do love that she's like, well, we'll just go to Principal Nova and I'll tell her I want to be in the ass club. And he's like, nope, I'm in charge. She'll back me.
I mean, she really does want him at that pool during the eclipse, so...
Yeah. Honestly, disappointing that we don't get another round of cheerleading because I need to see more of it.
Okay. You'll get some more.
I was hoping so.
Yeah, that was great. I love the use of face paint.
Oh my
That
gosh.
was fantastic.
She didn't even use her face paint right properly, sir.
And points for creativity.
She doesn't have school spirit.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any pep.
No pep at all.
Christy, sometimes I wish you listened to the audiobook so you could hear the crazy characters because they get real fun with it.
I may have to.
I love that. Okay, so they give her these knee-high socks, an outfit that is literally Dallas Cowboy cheerleader blushing kind of outfit, face paint, pink hair ribbons. She uses the ribbons as choker, and she uses her own lipstick instead of the pink gloss. And I gotta say, I do love the fact that the pom-poms and the sneakers change colors. I hate that they're pink, but I wouldn't mind those. Although she's
the fact that the lip gloss was included, though.
Yeah, you gotta wear this color.
Well, and that you have to dress up for practice is insane. Who does that?
I mean, we had to wear our cheerleading outfits to practice when I was...
For practice? Really?
I think that's typical.
Because
we didn't ever do that.
Some of the cheers included flipping our skirts up and you had to wear your bloomers.
Oh, we always wore shorts, t-shirts to practice in. And we only wore our outfits if it was an actual game or a competition.
And granted, I was 5 when I was a cheerleader, so...
Okay, mine was...
I remember my good friend's sister always wearing her uniform.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Like to school for game days or like to practice?
For both.
Really? That's crazy. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of dry cleaning for the... The
Oh,
outfits.
we didn't dry clean. We just washed them.
Really?
I'm pretty sure I still have my
Yeah.
pom-poms somewhere, too. My mom wanted to keep them.
I don't know if I have my pom-poms. I have my outfits, but not my pom-poms.
So I do love that Zodiac's colors are blue and silver. Ours
That's
were
great.
green and yellow.
Ours
it
were red
wasn't-
and black.
It wasn't even a pretty green. It was.
My high school was white and black, so it wasn't even, I mean, that was my favorite colors, so that was fine. But
I didn't do it for school. We were Pooler recreation cheerleaders.
oh yeah, I used to be part of a cheer squad, but as like a kid, and I hated it, so they didn't make me keep doing it. Anyways,
What did y'all think of Bernice?
Love Bernice.
oh, she's great. The accent.
Oh, there's an accent?
Is she from Joycey?
Is there an accent?
I was like, is she from Brooklyn or something?
I don't know where. I can't place the accent because
I can't either.
I'm a fucking hillbilly, but like I just thought it was great.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, she's a Minotaur.
Apparently, Minotaurs are from up north somewhere. I don't know. Boston, Jersey,
Maybe Boston.
Joyce.
Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah, she was like, "Can you fly up in the air and do a spin?"
So Jersey.
That's what I was thinking.
One of those places. But yeah.
Either that or Harley Quinn. I mean,
Oh my God.
I do love Harley.
Yeah. Yeah, I do love that Kylie tries this trick out and falls on her ass. And then when Tory does it, she's like, okay, but if I fall on my ass like Kylie, y'all have to laugh louder.
oh my God.
That's the best thing about Tori is she is really good at spinning things.
I like that Bernice is just like, yeah, so I told you couldn't do it. We don't
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. So, like I said.
Shut up, Kylie. I know you can't do it. So, anyways, Tori.
oh my God. Yeah,
Jeez, you
so
guys don't do anything by halves, do ya?
And then someone else says that later. Someone says that
I
later
think
in the book.
Tory says it to one of the heirs, or Darcy says it to one of the heirs. I don't remember.
There's a lot of Britishisms in this part of the book.
Knackered.
Yeah.
Knackered, yeah.
Yeah, I just
At some point, someone said pram.
Yeah, Darcy. And
Oh, yeah.
I texted y'all guys when I came across Knackered again, and I was just like, I don't understand why the authors made these girls American. Why not just make them British? What was the
Yeah.
purpose of making them American?
Or at the very least, have an editor that can go through and say, these are not American words. This is
Yeah.
totally British. You need to change this. But
I think we addressed this in episode 1 or 2, but I think these books were not edited or not really closely edited because they were published, I think, as Kindle only books for a long time. And so those books tend to have either very small publishers or they don't have a publishing group that they work with and they're just like self-published through Amazon. And I just have a feeling that the success that they got was from social media. And so later it became like a fully published book, which is why there's so many differences between all of the versions of the book because it's not been properly produced. And I don't know if you catch it in the audiobook, but there's moments where they've added stuff to the audiobook and it's different audio.
Really? I did not know that. I've been looking at the ebook to write our summaries, but I haven't noticed. I'm not listening to them at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So-
Yeah, well, it seems like there's a passage of them speaking, and then there will all of a sudden be a different tone or a different, like a change in tone or something for like a phrase or like one sentence, and then it goes back to the original. So it's like they've edited that part in or that was added in later. I don't know.
Are you talking about the audiobook?
Yeah.
I have noticed the difference in where it's the background noise kind of changes, where it was like recorded at a different place. I have noticed that.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, it seems like there's little pieces that are added in later.
Yeah. This book was self-published, and then after it became popular, they were approached by publishers, and they turned most of them down
Oh, wow.
because they were going to try to do it all on their own. And it was only recently that they accepted, which is why the library just got them.
Oh,
that's
wow.
crazy. If that's the case where the books, especially that we're reading right now, were self-published, edited, all that, then they did an amazing fucking job. If that's really them, that's insane.
I totally agree. I think at this point, I'm like really impressed with the series, even though we've kind of shit on it here and there lovingly. But I do agree that that's impressive.
I will say,
Love hoops.
the English major in me is like, when I do write the summary, I'm like, that comma needs to be a period. Grammar. Please learn your grammar. But
It's a mess.
you know, it is what it is. All right.
You still love the series.
I did not like book 1 that much, and it still angers me,
Really?
but they certainly know how to make you fall in love with characters and care about them so much.
Yes.
And to me, their description of the environments was good.
Yeah.
They did that's usually
The
how
world
I get
building.
sucked into stuff. Yeah, they did really good. So
Especially since we've only been to 2 places now in this whole big world. We've had Tucana and Zodiac.
Yeah.
We will get a new place next part in this book
Ooh.
to explore. So we find out Darcy makes the pitball team as a pit keeper. But how do we think Tory and the cheerleading is going to go? Do you think that Marguerite will be able to do as Ryan said and make her part of the team?
I think so. I think she's going to have to do that spinning twirl at a game or something like it.
I think Orion's going to force it. Marguerite is going to have to deal with her.
Yeah.
And I think Tory is, out of pride, going to have to beat Marguerite down.
Yep.
So, yes.
So remember when she did that whole fake coercion thing and she was like, I want to be you. I'm going to take over cheer captain. Do you think she might do that?
That would be amazing. I would love that.
Bernice, maybe some of the others are not very happy too. And,
I could see her doing it as a fuck you. As a, I'm going to be a better cheer captain. You know what I mean? Like taking it as a challenge.
Oh, fucking Marguerite. I think you need to be on the bottom of the pyramid. We can use your
like
brawny
she's
arms.
like, no.
Yeah. Fuck you, bitch. Make me.
There's only one thing I get on my knees for.
Oh my god. You whore!
Okay, and I'm sorry. My love Jerry she is so dirty-minded. I love it. I absolutely love
Does
it.
that
There was
remind you of
something-
someone?
There was something that was said, and then I thought, and then I read it, and I was like, Jerry said the same thing.
It's just perfect for you.
I love her. Yes.
And she's our new book club mascot. I want everybody to know that.
We noticed.
Okay, so after cheerleading practice ends, Tory is approached by all the heirs. She's ignoring the dragon-shaped fart and manages to distract Max with Geraldine, and Caleb ends up asking Tory out for the night. It does not go well.
Oh.
Oh, what a fucking mess that was. Oh, what a fucking mess. Now, we talked about this a little bit briefly, and I feel like Tory was a little bit of a bitch to him.
She was.
However, he should have known a little bit better. At least ask her.
Oh, for sure. I mean, as somebody who is extremely picky about food, I completely understand her, like, why didn't you care enough to ask me? If you're going to order for me, you should at least know what I like. I would be pissed off just in the ordering for me thing. What if I'm
Yeah.
not in the mood for that?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
speaks volumes about his personality.
And the fact that he isn't paying attention. I think he's so confused at this point. But the fact that Darius literally calls out like her perfect date
Oh, yeah.
later on is
Oh, yeah.
hilarious.
And he's like, you want a burrito from a truck? And then Darius is like, I'd take her to the best burrito truck.
And the fact that actually had that. I thought you thought he was like, no, it's like, it's off to be there already.
Yep. I know, it's getting so. Anyways, yeah, he
Yeah,
tries to
she-
feed her
when they
sushi,
first
and
got
she's
there,
a
and she's like,
vegetarian.
I
He
gotta
takes her
tell
to
you,
a
there's gonna
comedy
be live
club, and she's
music.
like, this is the worst date of my life.
I can't do
And
this.
even when
And then she's like, "Ooh,
she tries to tell
karaoke's
him,
even
he like
worse.
kind of shrugs
We
it
have to
off.
go. I want to leave." And then he's like, "No, let me order you veggie sushi." Which, ew.
Yeah.
Ew. She already feels like a douchebag for skipping the line, sitting in the VIP section. None of this is her. And to be fair to Caleb, I don't like karaoke. I don't want to go to a karaoke thing as a date, but I would at least sit through it and try, because he tried. It wasn't a great try, but he tried.
Yeah.
And from the very beginning, she's like, I don't like surprises. I don't like cars. I don't like your music. I don't like the karaoke. I don't like the sushi. I don't like, say one thing nice.
But I have
Yeah.
a feeling if Darius had taken her there, he wouldn't have. But if he had, I think her reaction would have been a little bit different. I think at this point, she wants Darius. And anything else is just not, especially on a date wise. Sex, one thing, but a date wise, she's just.
I don't know. She hates him so much. I think that they kind of had hate sex. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, but
she tells herself she feels so betrayed and so angry at him. She can't see past the anger. And so I think that she might have acted worse if Darius took her to these things, because she would have expected more from him.
well, she would, but I think that she would, right
Yeah.
now she would, if the hate stuff wasn't on the table and she was being a little less nuts about that. Because she does the same thing to Darcy. And instead of stepping back to go, okay, what would make my sister, who has never lied to me, there has to be something here, instead of acting like a brat, let me find out. I don't know.
Yeah.
You were right. She irritated the hell out of me in this book so far.
Yeah, she takes some powering through. Just gotta pray that she's better. Okay. I love the fact that she's like, okay, so we clearly don't, have the same taste. So how about you get me a burrito, I'll give you a blowjob and go home. And he's like, really?
No.
No. If you get me that burrito, I'll think about it.
We'll
When we get back to the academy.
talk about it
Although who eats
a little bit
gaseous
more
foods
later,
before
but
sex?
I have a little bit of a different perspective.
Beans. You start shoving that up there over and over, and that's like
Shove him up there.
pound them. Yeah, that's gonna make some serious gas bubbles. Yeah.
This thing's running off of me.
I think okay,
Come on.
right?
Y'all didn't go on dates,
But I mean,
and you were careful
I
about
guess
what you
because
ate.
she's not eating
that if it
meat
led to
on some
something,
level, it's probably
that
not
it
that
wasn't
heavy
gonna
of a
be an embarrassing,
burrito. I don't know. I guess so.
Yeah, but
Jesus
see, I would get
Christ.
gas. I don't care if I got that shit out of the way or not. Like, it would be like a gas factory if I was doing like burritos.
My dates never ended well. I got thrown up on.
God.
As we're making out, got thrown up on.
That's so funny to me.
Yeah. I mean,
Why?
like,
Was he sick?
oh, he was trashed.
Oh, okay.
And I was sober.
Yes, but honest to
And-
God,
Ooh.
if I'm being honest, I
Yeah.
got that shit out of
At
the
least,
way,
like, it
and then I
wasn't-
ate.
Did
He
you throw
didn't-
up in your mouth?
No, he threw up over here. And it was at his cousin's house, too, because it was like his cousin's birthday or something. And so they took him to the bathroom, and he asked if I was still here, and his cousin was like, yeah, she's a keeper. She's still out. She's still here. I was like,
Oh my
God.
I'm not
God,
keeper.
That's
But I
horrifying.
am worried about him. He was a
Wow.
nice guy.
You know, one laugh and it's gone. And then because you're holding it in, it reverberates. Or the squeaky ones, like the. But then, really?
Dear God. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I ever really thought it through that much. I was just holding the fart in.
Simon and Flocka are
If
like,
you clench hard
"Motherfucker,
enough,
get this shit out before you come home."
Well, I mean, at least it's not like I've had
nope,
two
I
coworkers
have
in
an
my
iron
past where they
steel
literally,
butthole.
as
It is
they
not
walk,
getting
it's like,
through. Nothing is happening. I have
really
mastered
trying to hold
keeping
it.
the fart in. I'm so serious.
It's like every
This is
step
not a
there's
joke.
little-
This is only half a joke
Oh my
because
God.
I still do it to this day. Like I'll be
Does
with
he
no
fart
one
around you?
for hours, and I will not
See,
fart.
you gotta get creative. That's the fun part of being
we're
married.
married,
It'll
by
be
the
like
way, for
dead
the
of-
listeners.
Dead of night,
We are
lights
married.
out, and I will like let
I
one
will be
fly,
with him
and
for
I'm like,
hours.
wait.
I will fart, and then
I'm
as
like
soon as
waiting the
I'm
covers
alone,
laughing.
Get that.
oh my God. Yeah. No. Hear me out. I'm not afraid to fart in front of him anymore.
Why?
It's almost like it's like my body just doesn't do it. You know what I mean? Like it's like a subconscious thing. But no. The morning after we got married,
I'll air out
the
mine.
morning after we got married,
Hell, he farts at night, and I'm
Cullen
like, is
was
that a
sleeping in the
challenge?
couch outside of our room. And Johan let rip the worst fart I've ever heard in my it fucking echoed
So, you know,
off the
I
wall.
don't know if y'all's cats do it or not, but my
Came
dad
out of the
will be
room
laying on the
and I
couch
looked at
with
Cullen and I was
boxes there,
like, "Did you hear that?"
and he'll let one rip.
He said,
and
"One of you
literally,
guys needs a
Roxy will
colonoscopy."
stick her nose up my dick.
That
Smell
is
it.
still
Like,
one of the
Not
funniest
again.
moments of
get
my
that
life.
close to smell it.
Okay, we're taking that part out, but that shit was so
Really?
funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I can't air out my husband like that on, in the podcast.
something up your
We can
butt.
keep in my fart jokes about holding it in, but
Yeah.
No, same.
I will say this, she does end it with, but I guess you're pretty decent in this
Are you
tag.
challenging
So,
me?
she did
Pull
say
out
one good thing.
pull out the Shaggy from Scooby,
Probably
the
the thing
live
that
action
means the most.
Scooby Doo. Are you challenging me?
Speaking of farts, Darcy takes a risk and sneaks into Asteroid Place to see Orion, and things get a little steamy until there's a fart that interrupts. named
Merlin
Washer.
used to do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Poor
He would like
pervert.
look at you like, what is
I know,
wrong
that's
with
what
you?
I was
And then
like.
get real close like,
I mean, he literally ruined the
what are
moment.
you doing?
He's like, I feel your lust fading. Are you done?
But
when
you
the
get the
Ryan said he said
judgmental
no.
look first.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Do it.
Say it.
Do it.
Say it.
I can't believe
A
we just
teeny-weeny
made our
penis.
podcast
Yeah,
a place where we
it's a-
talk about
The
farts.
hashtags.
Oh,
They did
good
definitely
stuff.
teeny weeny. There was a teeny weeny, but then there was like the
Washer
what was it?
calls it his teeny weeny.
We So Naked. I love that Washer comments.
He's like, come on, we're both adults.
A fart. I was like, why'd you say speaking of farts? Oh, man.
But seriously,
I
though,
really
how
enjoy it.
he makes me cringe.
I hate that so
He
much.
Yeah, but he's not as bad as Plunger, so there's that.
Do you
Y'all
think
will get to meet Plunger
you know what?
later.
Never mind.
In these books,
I was just
You'll
thinking,
find out.
you don't remember that whole conversation?
does that mean you have a small penis
We
or
talked about
a big
this.
penis?
What?
Yeah.
Did you erase your memory?
I must have
Hashtag.
erased
What
mine
did-
because I
what
didn't
did Tyler
realize I
say?
said the name to y'all. But apparently
It's
I
not
don't
teeny
really.
weeny, is it?
Plunger, the dude
No,
Oh,
jail.
God.
from the
nothing.
God, those were the moments in the books where I was like,
From
God,
the
he's the
jail.
worst. Like, why is he even included? I wish they'd write him out of the
remember
book.
from the jail, and he has to like get whacked off in order to keep his power up. That's like
No,
his.
that's Sin
I did
Wilder.
not.
Wait, I thought Plunger was the guy that plunged his dick into people's mouths. He was like a corrections guard and was like wagging it all over the place,
Oh.
plunging it into it, teabagging him.
Plunger is a prisoner.
Prisoner.
So
And
who is
he's
Plunger?
not the-
And why are they called
Can't
Plunger?
think of the word.
But doesn't
Incubus.
he plunge into people's mouths, and that's where he gets?
What?
He just does it for fun.
Okay, I thought he was the one that got
He's
like.
the washer of that
Then it was
series.
like, hold my sword, hold my dick, whack me off so I can do my power.
That's Sin Wilder.
Maybe I do. I just don't remember the name.
The Incubus.
Wait, what'd you say?
Plunger is the washer.
This isn't fair
the
to me
Darkmoor
because I have to
Penitentiary.
fucking
And this is
hear
for shits and giggles.
both of you through
Just
the
for
fucking
shits and
computer.
giggles. That's his nickname.
Chris-
That's his
Christy.
nickname. Yeah, because
Shut the fuck up, Brittany.
Christy
Christy.
walk around with it out and just stick it in people's mouths, like kind of like teabagging.
He also tricks the guards into doing a cavity search
Yeah.
for fun.
Yeah, we talked about that. Remember, because there was also that we talked about the incubus too. I think it was that same conversation, and I was like, well, how is he not hurt? Like, how would you do that and drag people along? But I guess he was standing still and holding a shield or something up.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many people wrong in the series that yeah. Sin Wilder is good-ish. Plunger not. Huh? Yeah. He's also probably the set of that
That's
series,
the Incubus.
Too. But for not the reason y'all think.
Okay, and I do not like him at all.
He's an Incubus. He likes everybody. He's
What a name.
But Seth has this ability, and it's later on in the book where you will say something to him and he'll interpret it in a whole different way. He's like, oh, I think
Did I
that our back
Was
and
I
forth
here
is
for
a game.
that conversation? I
They're
feel like I
no,
would have
he hates
remembered
you,
that. I
and he
remember
thinks
Sin
it's just a
Wilder.
game, and
Wow.
He's a sociopath.
so Max has this way, like he's able to feel people's feelings, so he would be able to tell if Seth was a sociopath.
Oh, I think I remember that bit.
was.
Your commentary.
I don't know. He's so needy with the whole hug me thing around them. I don't know if he would even notice that. Yeah.
But anyway, Seth has this ability to you tell him something and he'll interpret it in a whole new way. Sin Wilder is very much
Well, he is
the
an
same.
incubus.
He thinks that him and the main character have this
I said, well,
language,
he is an
and every time she
incubus,
tells
like,
him,
how
no,
good-
don't
good
do
can
that,
he be?
that means
Anyways.
go do that. So, yeah.
Sounds like you're just being a guy.
So he's gay.
Darcy visiting Orion and Washer interfering.
Yeah, okay, gay is an umbrella term.
I love that Orion's like, yeah, I had to burn the door. Oh, that's the couch after Washer sits on it. But he was like, after Washer stuck his teeny weenie through the mail slot, he had to burn the door and do 10 sessions of therapy in order to not have nightmares anymore because Washer touched it. I love him. I hate that Washer, though, is like, somebody's having sex. Let me go join them. Things like that. Sex is one of those activities that you can't just join in
And is he doing that to all the
I
other
think
teachers?
he's just evil.
Probably.
Evil.
Not to Gabriel.
Yeah. Gabriel was about to bitch slap his ass out for work.
Gabriel's from a city that is run by gangs, so he don't take that shit.
Oh my god, that was funny. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
So instead of having sex or, getting physical, they decide they're going to sit and have a conversation for the first time. Maybe get to know each other.
Okay, what were we
Orion
talking
goes
about?
into his little professor mode and he's like, how are you doing with the shadows?
Yes,
are you doing
washer?
Are you doing what I told you?
That's later, right? He's like, you want to burn the door?
Isn't being affected by the shadows the way Tory and
Oh,
Darcy
right.
are. He's not having dreams, and we find out later that neither is Darius. So, do we think it's because they've had more practice with the shadows they're not having the dreams, or is it that Darcy and Tory have formed a connection with the Shadow Princess, or something else?
Orion is
But they
one of
seem
my
to
favorite
be more
characters of all
affected by
time,
the
I
shadows
think.
than the others.
He's great. Creeps.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But
But that's a good theory, though, that she's targeting, because I figured it was that and their power that made them like a little more of a conduit.
they were the only ones.
It's amazing.
It had to be them to go
Somebody
to the
had to
Shadow
do it.
Realm
Thank
in
you,
order for
Gabriel.
them to come back alive. So maybe they're the only way she can get back alive.
Yeah.
But also, is it really Clara?
I was like, they're not talking. What the fuck? I think I kind of theorized that she was targeting them because of their lack of experience. Also, didn't I theorize that it was Clara? Bam. Bam. I figured she was coming back. Anyway, sorry. I'm wondering what's left of Clara, right? If it is Clara's entity, like how much of that is Clara? I mean, I feel like from what we've seen from the shadows, it sounds like they take over. And so how much of that could really be her?
Not only that, but she's been in the Shadow Realm, a realm that is not meant for Fae, as a vampire for 4 years. Who's she
It's a good
biting?
point.
Could there be, I don't know, would it turn her into something else, though?
Say that again.
Would it turn her into something else? That she wouldn't be just a straight up vampire, but more of a shadow kind of, I don't know, feed off of emotions or feed off the
That bitch is a
shadows?
nymph.
Yeah.
She's the Shadow Princess. What makes her the Shadow Princess?
But could she still have access to her Fae form? Because in that last part, it says that when she sees Orion, that's what made, was it Darcy or Tory that saw her? That Orion ends up seeing her.
With Darcy. Orion is with Darcy.
Okay. But it seemed like at first she was a little afraid of her. But then after she saw her face, when she sees Orion, then it made her think that she might actually, there might be something to save.
Nymphs have a Fae form too, but since Clara was a vampire, she can't also be a nymph. So,
But what if it's not Clara? What if it's a nymph taking the form of Clara?
that is a good question.
Because didn't we talk about they can shapeshift?
Y'all theorize that they could shapeshift.
No, I think we
and
read somewhere that they could.
the Fae can, and if the nymphs have Fae magic, then they can, if they know how to do it.
Okay.
This is very interesting. But what if it's a princess with extra magical nymphy powers who can do things like shapeshift?
It's a good theory.
Brittany?
Also, the shadows they
I don't
do say
know.
are full of souls. Just saying.
So are you trying to intimate to me that Clara Orion has been sitting in the Shadow Realm sucking souls, and now she is no longer Fae? She
could be.
a bastardized, fucked up version
Maybe.
of Clara.
You never know.
Perhaps.
So
Either way,
we
something's
also
not right.
learn
That's not
here
Clara.
more about Orion's past. He had to witness both his father and his sister dying.
Really sad.
Yeah. And Orion thinks that he and Darcy are Elysian mates.
It's about time.
We figured. I'm assuming
Why can't
Darius
they-
and Tory are too.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Why can't they say I love you? Just say I love you. They're afraid to say
They've
it.
only known each other for like a month.
So what? They're fated by the stars.
Right?
Well, he said he could be wrong about them being Elysian mates. And one of y'all had a theory in one of the episodes that said that you think that they would be together, but that the stars wouldn't make them Elysian mates.
I don't like that. I don't like that theory. Wasn't me.
Really? But that sounds like a too smart theory for me.
No, that wasn't me, because I've been wanting them to be Elysian mates, so therefore I would say that every time. I don't think it was me. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like they're gonna be. I feel like they're Elysian mates. There's too many
feel
things,
like,
like the
yeah.
whole phoenix and dragon tattoo, and
Well, that's Darius, but we're talking about Orion and...
I was talking about Darius and Tory.
Oh, I
they're-
also think they're Elysian mates.
Yeah. Well, hell, we know Orion and Darcy are. I mean, that's like,
Yeah.
Do we, though?
we do. Yes, we do. We do.
I think, yeah, very likely.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like 99.9% that they are.
If they're not Elysian mates,
Then this is
my
the
heart
worst
will be
buildup
broken.
ever.
Right? If they're not, you might as well tell me right the fuck now so that I'm not disappointed. You might as well tell me right now.
They could be a different kind of mate.
I need you to stop. I need you to stop and tell me right now.
We can Google
Okay.
it.
Don't Google it.
Yeah, that's right. I can Google it.
Don't you dare.
I have taken too much suffering today. I was genuinely so angry about this section of the book. I don't know if it's because I really resonate with Darcy. I really love Darcy's character and I kind of get her in a way. And I just felt so angry for her. And we'll get to it, but I had to literally walk it off at lunch.
Let me pre-apologize for next section then. So the next morning, Tory oversleeps by a lot, and let me tell you, I can feel that so much. That would be me. Thankfully, she has a free period and heads to the orb for some food, because that is this girl's number one priority. She sends a suggestive photo of a Pegasus to Caleb, and of course he has a ridiculous reaction. In fact, this reaction makes me so mad because he's like, "This is the first time you message me first, and it's this shit!"
He's too serious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, whenever you first slept with her, she messaged you first. So you're wrong.
So factually incorrect.
You're
Second
wrong.
of all, you're a dick.
And Darius comes in and she's sitting in this armchair by the fire and he comes over to bother her. She's wearing sunglasses and he's like, "You need to deal with your drinking problem." And quite personally, I'm like, well, your best friend Lance has a drinking problem. And now your girl has a drinking problem. Maybe it's not them, it's you. All these people around Darius developing
Common denominator.
drinking problems.
Yeah.
But anyway,
You know what? What if he's thought about that? Because Darius is such a sad boy. I have a feeling he probably already thought about that.
So what did y'all think about this interaction? Because I just want to hit Darius. I'm sorry. He comes over and he's like, "Get out of my chair."
Some stupid shit.
It is. I think she's just frustrated him to the point of everybody's had that before. You've had that relationship where the person drives you so nuts that you're the one doing dumbass things.
Yeah.
And I think that she has driven him to, he has tried everything he can think of, except for outright apologizing. I don't,
Or, admitting to his feelings
Yes.
in any kind of way, saying,
he
"Hey,"
tries to. There are a couple times he does try to, and she cuts
but
him off.
he can't get the words out.
But she needs to give him a fucking minute. Darcy does the same thing at one point. Like, she's like, and Tori's like, yeah, never mind then. I'm like, just fucking give her a minute,
Yeah, I agree. This section of the book with Tory and Darius reminds me of Iron Flame because damn, I was suffering getting through that. And I was just like, when will it end? When will this bickering end? I want them to finally talk to each other because the communication trope is so infuriating. And even if it's with the anger and hate, which can be like spicy and fun, I don't care. That shit is exhausting.
Spoiler, soon. It will be over soon.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I needed that.
Sort of.
It's got to be worth it. The problem is that all that frustration and anger needs to be worth it for the reader. And I really fucking hope it is.
I think what's frustrating for this is usually with that setup, you can understand the reason why there's a miscommunication. Something happens and you can understand the other person getting angry and not wanting to listen. But in these, there's literally nothing that has happened. Okay, he tried to kill her. I get that. But,
A couple of
That's
times.
past.
Just a couple times.
But
It's fine.
like her being upset that he didn't save her when Lionel
That
was
I
trying
don't
to save his
understand.
brother, but she did the same thing to save her sister. It just seems like she's looking for a reason. And so
Yeah.
I don't think they've set up a good enough reason for it to be like, oh, I get it. Oh gosh, the back and forth. I hope they get together. Like you're just, I don't know. Then stay apart and find somebody else.
Yeah, it's just frustrating to read.
Yeah.
This is also where Tory makes me agree with Kylie and Marguerite. And I hate to say that, but she starts going, "You're high-nass, dairy ass." And then she laughs at it, and I'm like, it's not funny. Sorry. It's not
Yeah.
cute at all.
Yeah, it's a little,
Childish.
yeah, it's childish. That's a good way to put it.
Is it the shadows?
I think a lot of it is. And I think it's a mixture of things because I feel it's similar with Darius, but I feel like one is the shadows and two, I feel like they're acting out because they're really hurt, especially near the second half of this portion. And while it is frustrating, and I feel like in real life it wouldn't have gone on this long, I feel like I would still give her some grace. If I was Darcy or if I was friends with her, I would still be giving her grace because she's so hurt, like deeply hurt. And it's so obvious. It's like the kind of person that's just mean because they hate themselves. You know, you have to pity her a little bit, which is
Yeah.
probably the last thing she wants, but it just is how I feel.
Yeah, there was one part in particular that kind of hit me for Tori that did make me feel kind of bad for her, that she talks about the fact that she's not really, it sounds like she's not really talking to anybody.
Yeah.
So basically just that she seems to be cutting everybody off. And
Yeah.
instead, whereas Darcy seems to be, maintaining those connections. So she's got people to talk to, whereas Tori's lonely.
Yeah, Tori's not even sitting with the ass club anymore, so she's isolating herself.
Yeah.
Which, as her friends, should be a big ass red
Yeah.
flag. I just really feel for Tori here. She's being such a bitch, and it is so annoying to read. And she was already kind of a bitch, so it's like easy to believe that this is just her. But I feel like she's just like screaming for help, and like nobody's helping her. And it is infuriating from a reader's perspective that Darcy just won't talk to her. It's so frustrating because I feel like if she would just talk to Tori, it would really help.
But she tries, though, a couple times, and Tori doesn't want to.
She's gonna have to be more forceful than that. She's gonna have to be like, you listen to me.
And at the same time, I was going to wait until another part to say this, but I'll say it now. As somebody who's been accused of telling people secrets, it is not her, I mean, it is partially her secret to tell, but it's a secret that can ruin Orion's life. And Tori
Yeah.
shouldn't expect her to have to tell other people's secrets to her. Even the whole her telling Darcy about Max's secret was kind of like, for me. Because, again, that can ruin Max's life. And while he didn't even want Tori to know, and for me, that's just, I don't know.
I don't know. I think in this situation, Darcy should have told Tori.
She should.
I just think she should have told her.
In the beginning, but at the same time, I understand, like, especially when a Cyclops could have gotten in their brain, it could have ruined Tori's life. It could have ruined
Sure.
Orion's life. So to keep it to yourself is better.
Right, but I think I know the reasoning not to. I just think that she really should just fucking get this shit out of the way. I also know that that's my own personal biases because I am the kind of person that doesn't like keeping secrets. I just don't do it.
Yeah, and I think you've got certain people that you just have no secrets with.
Yeah. Though,
Yeah.
But here's
I
my
mean,
thing, though, is that once they became phoenixes and they knew that Cyclops and whoever could not access that, they could not invade that space, at that point, she could easily have told her because she was no longer in danger.
she could have, but you see it here, it doesn't really register to her that a Cyclops can't get into her brain because she thinks about it and she's like, a Cyclops could pull it right out of her head. No, actually she can't because you're a Phoenix.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
it's just, it doesn't register with her that she's protected. But, and I mean, there is a lot of talk about, no secret people, but there's never a no secret unless you literally go tell somebody every part of your day. It's not that it's being kept a secret, it's just you don't say it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like I'm still keeping a secret from somebody from high school who I never see or talk to, but I can't, it's not going to hurt me or him for me to tell the secret because nobody knows him.
But you keep the secret.
It's also not my business to be telling people his secret, so.
It's not, but I think sometimes you do have those people that you do tell everything to. And yes, I mean, you may, just because you don't think it's relevant, you may not tell them. But I think that you got sometimes people that you would. And I think in a sister situation, in a relationship situation, you know, if you've maybe been with someone for a really long time, then they probably will be somebody that if somebody tells you don't tell somebody this or don't tell anybody this, they kind of don't count. Because you're going to relay everything to them anyway.
It's like you tell your significant other everything usually, you know, because it just is what it is.
Yeah. And then it stops there. I mean, you know that because you've got that trust and they do the same thing with you. But yeah.
But anyway.
So what did y'all think about when Tory gives up the chair to Darius? She goes and sits on the couch. I wanted her to burn that bitch down. I was like, Darius just threw a fireball at you. You're fireproof. Let it burn, baby.
Yeah.
Why are you?
They have like a moment.
They have like a moment, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, they have like a moment in the hall where they're just like freaking out at each other, and I was like, geez, this is getting crazy. And that was the beginning of it. Like that wasn't even at the end. Like I was thinking that was kind of crazy, but it gets worse somehow.
Yeah. But yeah, this fight in front of everybody pushes Tory to accidentally manifest just for a moment the shadows. And so Darius puts up a wall of fire and throws up a silencing bubble, and they have a talk. And I love that when he first came over to the chair, she was like, why are you so obsessed with me? And he's like, I'm not. And then here he's like, well, you're my obsession and you don't get to choose.
I don't know.
I love that.
Yeah. I feel like she wants him to be obsessed, though.
Oh, she does.
She does. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, all the
she
stuff
does.
she's doing is to get him to react and to. I mean, I feel like she wants him to like confess his undying love and how sorry he is, and it's in her mind. She wants it a certain way said or done, and if it doesn't match up to that, then
it's a little frustrating, yeah, because relationship is compromise.
Yeah,
you can't have it exactly the way you want it.
Yeah.
I hate though that he knocks her on her ass with water and then lets the firewall fall so that everybody sees. Like that was cheap. That was a cheap shot.
Yeah, I agree. I think, the frustrating thing about Darius in the interactions in these chapters is he somehow still continues to he says, I don't want to hurt her. I hate to see her hurt.
It hurts.
I just want to be with her. And then he does that shit. And I'm like, what are you doing? I don't get it. I don't understand physically how he can just lose control like that and do that to her. And so on one hand, you can't blame Tory for being so angry with him.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. That Jekyll and Hyde, I think that y'all referenced last week, because it's very, I love her, well, I don't love her, but I'm obsessed with her, whatever. And then he'll turn around and formulate a plan to get rid of her, which one you want.
And follow through with it. At least Caleb was feeling bad about doing it.
Even Seth was feeling bad about doing it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
For Seth.
And Chrissy was like, really?
For Seth's feeling bad, I feel like it's never because he actually doesn't want to hurt someone. I think it's just he doesn't want to be perceived as an asshole or something.
But even here, he was perceived as a good guy because he helped Darcy out.
What?
The other people around him, when she was having her little hallucination episode.
That he caused,
but they don't know that. They thought of him as a good guy. He was praised for helping her.
Yeah, but I think he doesn't want anybody to think. I think in his whacked out way, he doesn't even want Darcy to think of him as an asshole.
Oh, he definitely doesn't want Darcy to think of him as an asshole.
He
sees it as a game. So we're just playing this game.
He said something like, it's not even real. I don't even really mean this. It's just politics. And I was like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was so fucking confused.
Their hate for him confounds him because he's like, this is just a game. This is how it is, babe.
Yes, but okay.
And then he takes it so far, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he can't fucking take it himself. it ain't a fucking game when it's turned around on him. All of a sudden, then
Then it's personal.
Yeah. He doesn't hate them, though.
no. But when they tell me
He
if I'm
gets
going,
angry, yeah.
But tell me if I'm going too far. When they do the interviews and take the power, did I go too far?
No, you're good.
Okay.
No.
When they take the power back, it's fucking personal at that point, and he hates it. He's furious that they took what they thought was going to be this epic takedown and completely ruined it, and now people are on their side.
Yes and no. For me, I read it as he's not necessarily furious. It's we won, and then it's like, damn.
Oh, really? No, I read
Yeah.
it as he was really angry. Like, you
I don't
keep
know
showing
if
us.
the interviews is the best example for that, because I see what you're saying, Chrissy. The interviews, I can definitely see spinning that as he was upset about the PR, and that's politics to me. But there's other things that they have gotten them back on that he has 100% taken personally.
Yeah.
And it's not politics. Like the flea thing, or, having his packs around him, and like that shit he took personally.
He did.
And even whenever, so go ahead.
Oh, I just said he did.
Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with you, Christy, but I think the interview, at least, that one thing I might say is that one's very political in nature. But
What is, but he
Anyway,
takes it
I totally
personally
agree.
that they had the balls to spin it the way that they did, that they didn't fall. I think he was so angry, and he felt like it was some sort of personal attack on him that
It didn't come off that way for the audiobook. It was
Oh, really?
more like, dang it, they one-upped me, and now we gotta do it again. And who do they got on their PR team? Because they're not supposed to know this stuff, and
yeah.
it didn't come off
it's
as
crazy
him
how the
being-
audiobook changes the book.
Well, I mean, you can read it anyway.
Yeah.
But
Well, right, yeah.
it just didn't come off as super angry. It was more like
when
we
he-
won, and crap, now they got us back.
But when he confronts her about it.
He just wants to know who he has on their PR person, their PR team.
Okay, because I definitely read it as you don't know who you're screwing with.
Yeah.
Best just take your lumps and just shut the hell up. If you keep doing shit like this, we're gonna take you. Like, it felt like he was very angry that they came out on top. The way they
I
did.
felt like that Seth came out when they were talking about the Halloween thing, when they were planning the potions and stuff. You remember? Not at Halloween, but before that, when they're discussing it in the tree. And he's like, yeah, we're going to get them back. And he's basically being the convincing one. He's like, you guys, they're kind of reluctant on some things. And he's like,
Max isn't.
no, we have to get them back. Yeah, Max isn't, because he's
Fucking Max.
I still kind of like Max.
Max.
Sorry.
Max.
Because of Jerry.
Max has a wonderful dynamic with Jerry. I love them together. At this point in the book series, I don't like him as a person.
Yeah,
I like him with Jerry. If
She
Jerry's
needs to-
not there.
I get
And
that.
she needs to get his ass under control. And then we will like him.
What did she call him? An inflated something seashell something?
the
I
seashell
can't
fart.
remember.
Hey, yeah, I wrote it down.
Was it a
I
fart?
texted it. If you have your, I texted it because that cracked me up. Whatever
Blown up
blown
seashell
up seashell
fart.
fart.
Blown up. Yes.
Oh,
Perfect.
Jerry.
I love everything she says.
Me too. Me too.
She's so funny, especially with Max.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, we got off track.
Yeah, with the flea thing, even though he gets angry, he even at Halloween says, I don't hate them. Whereas all this stuff has been done to them and they're angry about it and they hate him. So they're taking it a whole lot more personally than he is. He was taking it personally at the time, but it was like, "Urgh," and now it's done with.
Yeah, but if the same shit had been done to him that they did, or if they did the same to him that he's done to them on a continuous basis, and it was just day in and day out, he would be taking it personally too.
I can't say things. Let's just say
We must let it drop. We gotta
he's had that done to him. Anyway, they have their first
we gotta drop it.
Anti-up.
They have their first physical enhancement class and they're being assessed. They have to run this obstacle course. They're allowed to use magic and they have to do it alone. So there's no helping, no hindering, and no hesitating. I knew that Tory was going to come out on top on this. As much as she talks about running, but also I didn't see the point of this scene. Except for
Yeah, it's purely to remind us that they're in school.
we get a little whiny Kylie moment. The Vega twins have all 4 elements, and they have an advantage always.
Suck it up, Kylie.
All right, so the heirs are at King's Hollow. They're trying to do, work out in their super secret gym, trying to figure out how to broach the sensitive subjects with Darius. So, of course, naturally, Seth brings up Caleb's date with Tory. Caleb has to admit that it went horribly wrong, and Darius is amused.
Yeah, he enjoyed that part.
Yeah, they had that discussion, and he was like, "Oh yeah, well, what date would you take her on?" And he just lists out the immediately best perfect date ever for Tory.
First,
because he is perfect for Tory.
First, I'd take her to a burrito truck. Then I'd take her to a race and then after she won all of their bikes, we'd go down, and I love that Caleb the whole time is like, you'd feed her out of a truck, you'd take her for a walk in the park, you'd make out with her in a parking garage.
He's such a prince.
He is.
Does he end up with Kylie?
I think he ends up with Seth.
I mean, Seth wouldn't mind.
I think they're gonna end up together. I am now clocking it.
Oh my god.
Why?
No, I like Caleb. I don't want
Just
Seth for
saying.
him. Seth isn't good enough.
Oh, honey, I think just be careful. I think it's gonna happen.
No, Seth needs to die alone. Like his pack
no.
leaves him, and then he withers and dies.
Okay,
Which
you know
makes me
what?
feel bad,
After
'cause
the
he's a puppy.
shit that we had to deal with, I'm sorry.
Oh,
What'd you
no,
say?
Go ahead.
I was just saying after the shit we read today, I agree.
Yeah, I was saying it makes me feel bad because then I think of him like a puppy. I'm like, oh, I would hate for a puppy to be out there, but I hate this particular puppy.
I don't feel bad anymore. I no longer see him as a human being, a fae, a being with emotions. I am mad at him. I am really angry at him. And it's gonna take some stuff.
What's funny, I was not even more angry. I already expected him to be just that evil.
Yeah, I mean, you were right. I think we knew bad things were gonna happen, but I wasn't prepared mentally for how angry I was gonna be at him. I did not think I would be so affected.
And do you think he's going to keep the secret?
No. I don't know if he's gonna tell the secret or if Orion and Darcy are gonna eventually just tell, or find a way to get it out.
I feel like Seth is. I feel like he is going to spill the beans. Brittany, would you like to spill the beans?
Nope.
Brittany, would you like to elaborate for us on what your thoughts are?
I think for Lily, you might reconsider a little next section about Seth.
Oh, on how much I hate him?
Yeah, you might.
She's going to hate him more?
No, I think that you might forgive him about 1%.
I think it's funny because she knows that Christy will not.
Yeah, she didn't even, there was nothing.
Yeah. She's not talking to Christy. She's like, okay, Christy is definitely going to hate him forever. But
you would forgive him for what he does.
No.
Don't say that shit, Brittany.
He's done.
Is he really worth forgiving?
No.
And actually, I take it back. It's not even next section.
Next
it's
book?
the beginning of the next book.
Okay.
I just don't see it being good enough for a little forgiveness, but we'll see.
He could lay down his life, and I would still find the selfish act in there.
He could die, and I would hate him forever.
I like Diego better than I like Seth.
Oh.
Right now, I kind of do too.
No, Diego definitely earns it more than Seth does. It's just, I know who he becomes. I know things about him.
It better be worth it, Brittany.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
So they start talking about whether or not Lionel would actually kill the twins, and Darius has trouble answering, and Max is like, can you not answer that? And so that brings up the whole point of why they gathered here, to do an intervention for Darius, and he uses his emotions to get around his father's dark coercion.
This is an important scene in the book, I think. As much as we want to hate on some of the heirs, as a group, they are very loving and try to look after one another. And I think what they're trying to do with Darius is good, because this is the kind of thing that needs to happen with Tory. And nobody's doing that for Tory right now. And so at least there are efforts made with Darius on trying to understand him and trying to get to him and be like, are you okay? Now, how far they can take that with Darius is his own fault. But I do think there are strides made here that should have been made. And, we've been leading up to that.
Yeah.
With them him talking about the thing with Lionel.
And Max also catches him staring at a certain photo that somebody sent him.
I knew as soon as Max grabbed that atlas that it was gonna be the picture of Tory. Oh, Darius.
That photo confused him so much.
Predictable.
Yeah.
Why did it confuse him?
Yeah, there was a lot of whys in this scene. Like, why did it take them that long to even have that conversation? Especially knowing how they could get around the dark coercion. Because it sounded like they already had some...
They had theories.
Thoughts. Yeah.
But they were too scared to broach it. Like, how do you go up to your friend and say, we know your dad is beating you?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you would just do that.
Okay, well, I was going to say, hold on. Ignoring the fact that it's just a book and we need that for the plot, men do not talk about things.
And I will say, it took me 5 years.
Damn, that's true.
It took me 5 years of being ridiculously angry for my mom and dad to sit me down. And even then, all I could say was, this makes me uncomfortable. But
yeah, but that's yours. But I think if you knew your friend was hurting, you would just be very direct. And it wouldn't take however long they've taken,
I mean, so there have been times when at work, I ask Lily, are you okay? And she's like, I don't want to talk about it. And I don't want to push her.
Like 5 minutes later, how about now?
I mean, there's a difference between something you might not want to talk about and something you need to talk about.
Yeah.
And I do think if it came to us, we would have those discussions. But I really feel like just men don't talk about stuff like that. They will avoid it and avoid it and avoid it for the sake of the status quo. I don't know how to explain it. Men will go years hanging out with someone and being friends with them and not really know anything about that person.
My dad has literally said that emotions are excuses.
I think they think it's manly. And it's like, no, it's weak.
I don't even think it's the emotion thing. I think it's just they don't even think to ask. It's such a weird thing about male friendships. Not saying that that's what's going on in the book, but it does make me think of that.
Very much so.
Because they needed it for the plot. But
Darius kind of lets it slip in here that he is trying to protect the twins. And Max has a reaction to that.
Max is so fucking ridiculous here.
It's like, everything I do is for my own throne and my power and Solaria. I'm like, yeah, that's why you're chasing Geraldine. Mm-hmm. For your own power.
But the irony of that is, where Darius admits this, is later he gets so upset at Lance for bringing that shit up. Like, potentially changing any of their plans. So it's like, if it's not Darius's idea, then it's betrayal.
Yeah.
Well, Darius has never changed his belief that the twins should not be on the throne.
Right. I just think that they're connected. I think that the solution that Lance offers later and the feelings that Darius has in this moment with Max, those are very connected feelings about the Vegas and what they're going to do about them. And so for the fact that Darius admits that he doesn't want to hurt them in some way, it's just ironic how he reacts later.
So they also end up making a secrecy oath between the four of them. They power share for the first time, get all orgasmic.
And then make the dumbest fucking mistake of not making Seth go first.
I knew.
Would you really want to hear his
You deserve
nipple
this.
thing?
Oh my god, they deserved it. That's gonna come back to bite
I knew
him.
that his secret wasn't going to be a secret.
Yeah, Seth is usually the one who would be that person who says, oh yeah, by the way, I just went to the bathroom and I, shat. He would be that person who'd be like, by the way, I took 3 dumps today and...
Yeah, but he sure as hell would not give anybody else power over him by giving them truly a secret that could hurt him.
He doesn't have a secret.
Oh, yes, he does. He has so many evil secrets.
You're so certain.
Oh, yes, he does. What's his secret? That he's in love with Darcy?
No, I'm sure it's probably some horrifyingly bad things. I bet his family already had the shadows. They've got it mastered. They're planning a whole overthrow. I think Seth does not even care about the other heirs. Yeah, he's going to bury them. He's probably going to get their graves marked out and everything.
And this is why she didn't think you would ever forgive him.
The reason his wolf instincts trigger so much around them is because he cares so much about them. Not because he's attracted to them, but because he does view them
Oh my God, he
I
would
understand
hump
that.
a lamppost if it
I get
said
that.
something
He's
to
attracted
him.
to them
So
all.
funny.
But I'm saying his relationship with them,
That's what I'm saying, though. If a lamppost could say, "Hey,
his
Seth, how are you?"
attraction
He would be like, "Oh,
to them doesn't
Yeah.
trigger his wolf instincts. It's the family vibe that he feels with them that triggers his wolf.
uh-huh."
Oh, that's harsh.
It's family.
Oh my God.
Is it family, though? It really feels like
I mean,
he is
Caleb
the
doesn't feel that way.
pet that nobody
Well, it's
wants.
because Caleb and
Which I feel bad for any pet like that.
Caleb
Not
and
Seth,
Darius, their orders
because
are
everybody's
very
like, "Get
much
off me!"
loners. I am that way. I don't like to be touched, hugged, but I will
He puts
allow
up with it.
certain
He isn't
people
like,
to
"Here,
do that.
Sethy," you know.
And even then, if it goes on too long, I'm like, okay, please back away. And that's what they're feeling with him. They allow him to do it because they know his order needs it, but they don't really enjoy it. But just them allowing it in the first place. And even then, Max says that Caleb comforts him at some point, and Darius actually feels comforted by him holding on to him. What's up? So the guys make a secrecy oath, and they all agree to spill a secret. Max tells him, "Hey, my mom isn't my mom,"
Finally, that's out.
which we already knew. Yeah. Caleb tells us that he accidentally almost killed a girl when he first turned into a vampire, and that's why mom made him go home for the eclipse.
Why does that not shock me at all, though?
It doesn't shock me. He loves the hunt a little too much.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That doesn't shock me a little.
Although you would think at this point he wouldn't ever do that again.
The funny thing is he wasn't even hunting the girl that he almost killed.
Oh, God.
He was just biting her, and they were drunk, and he took too much.
Oh, that's right.
That's true. Damn, Caleb.
And he didn't know how to heal her.
Poor little baby Caleb.
I like the fact that when Darius tells him about Xavier, that they are mad
Yeah.
for Xavier.
Oh, yeah.
Except for Seth. Did he give a shit? Did he say anything? Did he? I know Max and Caleb are like, "We got you, brother."
You're like, but what the fuck did
You know.
Seth say?
I'll be honest, I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
But
I feel like Seth is over there in the corner cracking up at the fact that they're all releasing these big secrets and he's going to be
I don't think he cares.
he really, really liked the nipple thing. I don't know.
I don't think Seth cares about Xavier being a Pegasus, though, because I just think he doesn't care.
I think he cares, but I think he would use information to his benefit if it
Not against
needed to.
Darius.
I think against his own mother.
I don't think against Darius. Don't look at me like that, Brittany.
He can find another leg to hump, you know.
Brittany's laughing.
He ain't humping Darius. I find it so funny. Christy's absolute hatred.
She does really hate him.
Oh, yeah.
No forgiveness whatsoever.
If you wrong Christy, it's over.
You know what? My hatred for Seth is very much like a pitball match. He is so far in the negatives. I don't care how much
Oh my
he
God.
fucking scores. He will never make points.
So proud of you, Christy. Oh my God.
I mean, has he really done anything worse than what
Yes.
Yes.
Darius has
Yes.
done?
Yes.
He cut off Darcy's hair. Darius tried to drown and kill Tory.
He enjoyed it.
Let's hold up.
We don't know what his
Fine.
actual thought
We're gonna
process
discuss
was.
it right now then. We're gonna discuss it right now. Because no, Seth holding the fucking secret of Darcy and Orion over their heads and just getting off on the pleasure of it and continuously torturing her is arguably worse than just getting it over with and killing them.
Again, his is for shits and giggles. Darius is, while horrible and terrible, and he needs to fucking apologize, it was for a very specific purpose that at the time he thought was important and necessary.
And Darius is a pain.
Arguably, Seth thinks that this is important too.
No, he enjoys the shit out of it, and that is a great excuse for him to continue to do it, but he loves it. He is a sadistic fucking bastard.
Even his point of view said that he didn't love it.
It was always about him, though. He is a sadistic bastard. It is always about him. It is never about, oh my gosh, I hurt somebody. It's literally about the viewpoint others may have of him, or it always routes back to how he feels. I mean, even when he's with the heirs and there's something going on, it's like, oh, I don't want to feel this. I want love. Like,
arguably,
you know,
Darius only is feeling guilty about what he's doing to Tory because it hurts him.
there's something about her too. I think he doesn't like to be put in that position. He still feels like it's an absolute right or wrong thing, as far as it for the good of Solaria, that he has
Darius
to do
has
it.
a lot of other pressures on him that he's acting upon as well. Seth does not. Seth is doing this of his own accord.
How do you know that, though? This is his first point of view. How do you know he doesn't have these pressures put on him?
We've had his point of view before.
I still think it's worse.
Yeah, it was, he enjoys it. He enjoys it. He loves it. Just like Lily was saying, the fact that it's a prolonged torture of Darcy. It isn't like he did it and he thought, yeah, it's kind of crappy. I'm not going
And
to do it.
he doesn't even have a working relationship with Darcy in the way that Darius and Tory kind of do. The relationship between Darcy and Seth is so one-sided that it is unfair to Darcy. At least Tory is being a cunt back to Darius and sometimes deserves getting her ass kicked. Darcy has not done that shit.
So, again, I agree that what he's doing to Orion and Darcy is horrible, but I just don't understand why you think that he enjoys it when this is the very first point of view that we've gotten, and he's literally, like, telling Max, watch Tory because we don't want to take this too far. And Max is the one who's like, we'll let it go as far as it needs to go.
Yeah, but that's he.
If
does
anybody's a
enjoy
sociopath,
it.
it's
His
Max.
reasoning for not wanting it to not go too far, I don't believe has anything to do with their feelings, their reputation, or anything like that. I think he wants to make sure it doesn't go too far so they don't get in trouble.
But they tried to drown her and all they got was 2 things of detention.
Yeah, but if they'd accidentally killed her, then it would have been a whole other story.
Yeah.
That might have been more trouble than it's worth. And
Yeah.
at this point, they're a lot stronger. They've got more friends. So I think it ain't for protection for them. I think it's, or for the
I think
twins.
from our perspective, from where we are in the books, not having read any further, it's not crazy to think that Seth is enjoying this. I think from what we have already read, that the way that he has acted with the heirs, the way that he has acted in his own POV, and just the one, is enough for us to say, this is fucked up.
I agree. I think that he is fucked up. I just don't see it from this one point of view the way that y'all are seeing that he enjoys this. I never read it and thought he's enjoying this.
But everybody else has expressed some form of, I hate doing this, I wish it was another way, something like that. That
He
it's
did
not
too.
that they're not choosing not to, but Seth doesn't. The only time that he expresses something like
Seth
that
does.
is when it has to do with an outcome he doesn't like for himself.
But that may be how you're reading
Seth?
into it. Because I don't see how he would look out for Tory when he doesn't even give a crap about Tory. He, in fact, thinks that Tory is driving them apart, and yet he is still
How's he looking out for her?
telling Max, hey, watch her, because we don't want this to go too far. This gets out, and none of the heirs care that they spike their potions, or that the girls know, or that anybody knows. And in fact, if the girls try to blame it on them, they say, will reflect poorly on the girls. So who cares if they know that they're the reason?
Not for the poison, though. That's not what they were talking about.
For the-
they said if
yeah.
they blame them for the behavior,
No,
it'll
if they
reflect poorly.
try to blame it, if they were to get and write a magazine or an interview and say, we acted this way because of a potion and that's it. They said any kind of things like that, that would reflect negatively on the twins.
I think it's more behavior, but Lily, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that Seth does express in the books from time to time that he doesn't like doing things. However, doing things to Darcy, like when he heals her, or when he was like, I didn't want to have to hurt you whenever he's fighting her. But it's the way that he, like Max, for example, is so adamant when he's talking to the heirs heirs that he's like, we have to get back at them. We have to do this. He is one of the driving forces. It's not Caleb and it's not Darius. And Darius agrees and sticks to the plan, and he follows through with it. But Seth is the one that's like, what's going on with you guys? What's happening to us? Shit like that.
I agree with some of that. I think that Darius is also part of this. This is why he has such a horrible reaction to Orion suggesting that they share the throne. He can't even look at it like that.
He is a part of this. I'm not saying he's not.
But there's at least some I feel like there's a sense of, even just in his own mind, he doesn't do it out loud like he should, but some sense of acknowledgement that what they're doing is fucked up at some points, and that they wish they were not in that position to do it. Seth is the only one that seems to enjoy it, in the respect that he would do this even if there were no reason, that he just likes doing it. He seems like that with other students too, not
He
just
just has a
Vegas.
sadistic nature.
Think that Max has.
Yes, he
I don't
does.
think Max has expressed any regret. He, in fact, is like, we're taking this as far as we gotta. Like, let's go. He seems, in my opinion, he seems to be the one that takes the most pleasure out of it.
I don't know if I really saw him as taking pleasure, because he's also the one that we find out likes taking people's pain away.
But see, that's the thing. You got to know that information and it colored your view.
Right, and we don't have
know
the
much
other
about
information, so therefore we don't have a colored view on it. So I think it's fair.
What? The fact that you don't have that information also colors your view.
Right.
His point of view
That's what
is
I'm
pretty
saying.
much whiny baby, Seth only. I don't give a shit about anybody else, any of the things that he's like, oh no, or all things that come back to him. Even for Tory and them, he doesn't give a shit about protecting them. It is, if it goes too far to a point where they can be blamed for it, he doesn't want it coming back on them. He didn't care about them
I don't
being
think it was
embarrassed.
that. I think that part is what you're reading into it. Whereas Max straight up said he didn't care if it went to her having sex with those boys on that stage. He would take it as far as he needed to.
Now, Seth's not going to want that because he likes Darcy. He has
I meant that for Tory because she was the only one given that potion.
Yeah.
And just seeing Darcy hallucinate for 5 minutes, he was like, okay, that's enough.
I don't know if I would think that he was like, oh gosh, I feel like for him it truly is that if they take it to a certain level, people are going to know it's them. And it's going to reflect poorly on them.
They don't care. It doesn't reflect
They
poorly on
do.
them.
They care about their reputations.
They do care about their reputations, but their reputations are all about power. Doing something negatively towards the twins, like nearly drowning them, that reflected poorly on Tory, which is dumb, in my opinion. But in this world, it reflected poorly on Tory.
Yeah, but I feel like
even though they tried to kill her.
But the poison, though, that was like a
potion.
Kind of like Caleb's or potion. It's like a cheap shot. It's like if you have to do this to your enemies, then you're kind of the weak one.
But at the same time, potions are an accepted part of this world. We may see it as a weak thing, but do they?
Yeah, but the heirs have to stoop that low.
It's a prank.
I mean,
that Tory bought a sex doll and put it in Caleb's room.
That was fucking funny.
It was. But in the same regard, it can be seen the same way as this potion.
Not really. She's not altering reality. I mean, he was all full up on real when he was nailing that Pegasus up and down the hallway.
Okay. Christy despises Seth and is not going to change her mind. But
But I love the debate. I
just think that it is unfair to expect us to think better of him at the moment.
I think it's a little unfair to cut off all possibility
I'm not.
of change.
Christy is.
I am.
Christy is.
I just want you to be open. That's all I
am, motherfucker. I'm open.
Same thing with Sophia. You changed your mind.
I did leave it open, but she hadn't done anything that was so far out there. So I left it to where she could.
Does Seth compare to Sophia? Absolutely not. But
don't make me hurt you. Because I now like Sophia.
However, because you're so adamant about it, I literally want to be like, nope, I hate Seth forever.
To be fair, if y'all are also like, well, I want to forgive Darius for this, and I'm trying to push y'all to hate him, so
I know you're the worst ever.
I'm just playing devil. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. I mean, Seth could be the worst person
And
ever.
I'm
You
trying
never
to
know
be
with me.
reasonable, and you won't let me.
I love
I
the
can't
debate,
handle it. What the fuck were we even talking about? God damn it.
though. We were talking about
The secrets.
the nipple thing.
The secrets. Wow, we way got off course.
Oh, man.
Okay, so anyway, this is where what you were talking about earlier, where Seth was like, we were the most powerful Fae of our generation. It was on us to prove that point, but it would never stop being true. It is already stopped being true. You are not the most powerful Fae anymore. You were not born to rule. It's the same thing with the birthright. Every time they mention something like this, it makes me rage because it's not true.
Now, wait a minute. Yeah, you were all sorts of ragey when you first read this book before.
Oh, I mean, again, just blank. You never know my
And
true.
I'm pretty sure when you talked about it, you were like, these bastards will fry in hell.
And again, you never know my true feelings. Again.
Those were your true feelings. That's when we were reading it.
Of course, those were my true feelings, but I meant right now.
I
might
can't wait
push
for
you
us
in
to read a book that you haven't read so that you cannot be a little puppet master, okay, for the podcast because this is evil.
Just like pushing y'all in different directions.
But see, we
It's
like.
fun.
I don't know. Well, I can't speak for Lily. I like going in the wrong directions. It is fun to make these wild theories, and of course, none of them are right.
I mean,
but still,
for all y'all know, Seth could be like the major bad guy. So
he is.
And I'm sitting here going, don't you love him?
Chrissy's like, he is.
No, actually, he's not the major bad guy. He's not that important. He's like the major bad guy's puppy. You know, like he diddles on the floor.
I'm sorry, what did you just say? I am aghast. Oh, wow.
So they talk about their plans for the Vegas. Caleb doesn't want to do it. Max and Seth are all for it, and Darius is the deciding factor. He agrees. He's a dumbass for agreeing. Like, seriously, shadows.
Yeah.
You're trying to keep them secret.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It kills me that he's supposed to be this leader and he didn't think of that.
Yeah, because he was like, oh, you can't do this or that. And yet he's setting them up to where, especially Tori's going to get pissed enough. She's going to be like, Phoenix, in the middle of the club.
So we start the next chapter with another notice from Principal Nova. And I love that it's like, instead of lust, this time Halloween apparently inspires violence and rage. And the notice includes gems like, please remember that if you're bleeding on school grounds, it may be better to take an external route to get help rather than passing through the buildings to minimize the cleanup required afterwards. And eating a fellow student will earn you a sentence in Darkmoor Penitentiary, and the FIB won't take Halloween as an excuse. Coming from your principal. Don't eat anybody, and don't bleed on our school property, just so you know.
Does it say in the book rage and violence?
It says, I can't pull it up right now, but it said something about, it said it in a different way, and I think Tory says, so basically it says we're going to be ragey and violent-y.
Okay, because I was like, I thought it was chaos, and I feel like chaos is more of the right term for what the night becomes, because it's not necessarily outright violent, but shit is hitting the fan like crazy.
The notice does say, resolve your differences, avoid people who you have conflict with, and all these other things.
And then what do?
Yeah. And of course, Darius.
They said, we're going to incite more violence and wear these costumes.
Oh
I'm sorry.
And of course, Darius is like, where's my picture?
Oh my God.
And Tori's like, it's your turn. Oh yeah, by the way, fuck you.
That's the Jekyll and Hyde
Man
thing.
is whipped.
Yeah. But the Jekyll and Hyde, because he picture thing, and then an hour or two later, he's using potion?
Yeah.
So they're all in Tori's room getting ready. She is a Pegasus. Rainbow hair, body covered in glitter, white dress. Love it. Geraldine is a mermaid. Princess Mergeraldina.
Oh my God.
So
I should have seen the Pegasus costume coming. We made jokes about it last week, but I should have seen that one coming.
Laughed about it. I wish.
Yeah, he's starting to get
know.
whiny.
Yeah. Sophia is a Nemean lion, and Darcy is Count Dracula, and I am just like, lame.
Yeah.
Lame.
She could at least have been Orion,
I don't think he would have wanted to make out with himself.
Well, maybe that would have saved their asses.
But I love how
You know what? True.
Orion was like, "Oh, I guess you're supposed to be a vampire," and she's like, "I'm the most famous vampire," and he's like, "Somebody the Dreadful."
Oh yeah, so I was like, what? She should have been Washer.
Yeah.
They definitely wouldn't have gotten in trouble.
She
Oh.
just would have went naked.
No, she had to have her teeny little Speedo.
Yeah.
And her teeny little package.
Yeah.
I don't want to look. No. Ew.
Yeah. No, I veto that decision. She could be anyone else.
It
It would have been funny if they dressed as the
they
heirs.
should've.
Did we discuss
Especially
that?
since
I feel like we did.
Tory sees two girls dressed up like
Yeah.
them and thinks it's hilarious. And Darius is like, "Doesn't that piss you off?" And she's like, "No, you gotta laugh at yourself." It's great. I love that
Yeah.
Max dressed up like Poseidon and he's like, "We matched, Geraldine." And she's like, I don't match with a hagfish."
Oh, that was funny.
He's like, "I'm Poseidon." He's like, "Well, why is Poseidon wearing a hagfish costume?"
Oh God. He will never win an argument with her.
No.
She is so funny.
I hope he realizes that.
No.
Oh God.
No.
And what is
It's
with
hilarious he
Caleb
keeps
always
trying, though.
coming up and snatching Tory and taking her off? I think I would be pissed as fuck if he kept doing that to me. And he freaks out and he's
I'm
like,
surprised she's
"Now I
not."
can't be around you." She's like, "And?"
Yeah, he's being kind of whiny.
Yeah.
That's getting also old. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can't do paintball and
He's
douche
prissy. Yeah, like he's prissy.
Yeah.
I don't
I
I
was
feel like
not
he
meant
had
for
so much
Tory.
potential.
I think that's why they're doing that to him. So the reader doesn't want them to be together. They want Darius
Yeah.
and her to be together. Yeah.
Well, I think they aren't meant to,
Yeah.
Tory
Yeah.
and Caleb are not meant to be together. And they're highlighting the reasons.
What?
Yeah.
I'm trying not to say things. So Orion makes an
Brittany.
appearance at the party.
Ugh.
And of course, go ahead. You're good. Go ahead.
Oops, sorry. I was gonna say I imagined his costume as Scream or something like Scream, and I love
They
that.
do a little dancing, then head deeper into the caves for some private time. Seth shows up.
And claps. And claps.
He thought he was going crazy.
Yay.
He is.
Yeah.
And of course,
fucking
I don't
asshole.
know if either one of you caught it, but when they first see the heirs, Seth smirks at Darcy for dressing up like a vampire. And this time around, I was like, huh, is that why? Because he's like, you're into vampires, huh?
I felt like there was another moment in the book somewhere where Seth
You talking about
caught
the lunar
didn't he
eclipse?
catch the two of them
When he catches
together
them?
or maybe look at them, or there was a moment where I thought he was going to show up. No, after that, in between those two events of him officially catching them and at the lunar eclipse,
So,
I thought there was
there is
something
that
in the
one
middle
moment
where I
when
thought for a minute
Darcy
that Seth
is
was catching on.
angry at Orion
But-
for what happened in the cave, and she comes out and tells him to basically fuck off, and he's waiting outside of Orion's office. That might be what you're thinking of.
Oh,
We
yeah.
forgot to talk about
Maybe it was
Geraldine's
that.
little
Maybe so.
phrases for man meat.
Oh my God. Yes.
Diddly doo.
Oh Lord, there's
What you
so
call it,
many.
the longshoreman?
phrases.
I don't
for
have
it?
it. I don't. What were you saying?
I think there's like
All right,
the
what's the list? Give us
longshoreman
the
or
list
something.
that you've
There's
written
the
down.
longshoreman.
You don't have a list. Oh
What?
God, there's
Like,
so
She
many.
can't just be like, dick. She calls her own self Lady Petunia, which is funny because in another book that I love by Karen Marie
It's
Moning,
awful. It's a terrible name
I'm
for
sorry,
a
who?
vagina.
Karen Marie Moning.
You better live up to the hype, bitch.
That is, it's the Fever series.
Yep.
And so the
Moaning.
first series, the main character is from Georgia, and she goes to Ireland to figure out what happened to her sister.
I
And
still need to read more.
she's a proper Southern lady. So yeah.
Those don't exist.
So she doesn't say cuss words, so she says petunia instead of ass.
That's why I stopped reading
Dude,
it.
she's in the wrong fucking place.
I
'cause
know, right?
Europe is gonna be.
Yeah.
Not at
Yeah.
all.
That's what I tried to tell my dad when we visited.
Yeah, I was
to
like, I don't know
Scotland.
where you grew
And I
up,
was
but
like,
it
you
wasn't
don't understand.
here.
Cuss words over there are like flavoring. Everybody uses them, and it wasn't until we went into a church. These little old ladies are like, fucking this and fucking that. And he was like, whoa. I was like, I told you.
I will say this. I still occasionally accidentally say fudge monkeys instead of fuck. So that was I'm a kid and I'm not allowed to say fuck. So I'll just be like, fudge monkeys. That was my fuck.
Okay. Oh, I did. Oh, I just said the F word.
I got grounded
I think
for
I
saying
said all kinds
Lord.
of things as the F word. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to say, one time I said sucks, like that
Yep.
sucks, to my dad.
And what the fuck?
And he
Why
got
do men get to
really
say
mad
it?
at me
Yeah, I
and
got
was
in
like,
trouble for
ladies
saying-
don't say that
I got in
word.
trouble
And I
for
remember
saying
being
crap,
like, I'm not a
too.
lady.
What
Like,
if you just took
what the
one?
fuck? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad doesn't love
Yeah,
cuss
I got in
words,
trouble
but I
for
think
saying
my
crap.
pure
It was just my
enjoyment of
dad. He's
abusing
just
them,
very, very old fashioned. No one else cared.
was allowed to.
My dad's gotten better, though they're watching Suits right now, and I swear every other sentence is goddamn. And I was like, okay, now it's getting a little gratuitous. Come up with some other ones.
But that's my thing too. A lot of people that are like, "Oh, I don't like cussing." They don't mind watching TV shows or movies with it in there.
Yeah.
He was okay with it until it was like every sentence has it in there. And I was like, at first I was like, okay, you're just being prude. But then I started listening and I was like, okay, yeah, it's kind of annoying. They should come up with some other cuss words.
You do have to use it correctly for
Yeah.
it to be funny. But it
Some
is,
variety in there.
yeah.
All right, so Seth forces
Yeah.
Darcy to tell everyone that he slept
Yeah,
with
you gotta be creative
him.
with it.
Why would you do that? Why would you open up the opportunity for your nemesis to be like, "Wow, that is a small weenie," you know?
Yeah, that she slept with him.
Yet,
Imagine what
I think
she
he
looks
knows
like.
that Darcy is not as ruthless as Tory.
imagine what he looks like.
Orion and Darcy just had sex. Imagine
Yeah.
what she looked like.
Yet, huh?
I mean, still, it could have been tiny, you know?
I'm saying that her makeup was smeared.
What are you trying to
So
say?
don't think they had sex. Great. But maybe she talked,
So?
or it could have been like the
She
worst
could have had
of
sex
her
with
life, and
anyone.
She had
It
to
didn't
go
have to
off
be Seth.
afterwards and spend it with like a vibrator just to like get the, you know.
Well, I mean, Seth doesn't stop her from telling people that it was horrible.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why would you? That seems like an odd. I don't know. By what? Oh,
I will not
Yeah.
be swayed
What am I trying to sway?
by Brittany.
We love Seth.
I don't love Seth. No. Mm-mm.
King Capella.
Seth is
nope.
our king.
Like that
Weasley
sounds
is our
like
king.
a 90s boy band group.
Oh. Wait, did we
That was
skip
last
over the
section.
fact that Orion broke
Still,
his
great.
fucking nose with a pineapple? Oh, was it? Oh,
I think that's
man.
also partly
This
why
shit is so
in that
funny.
section
You know
was
what?
like,
He
we
needs
need to put
another pineapple
Orion
to the
in his
face.
place. And
Because he's taking it personally, even though the pineapples represent just a political issue.
well, it was also a power issue.
Classroom dynamics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And I think Seth is
Orion
now just
hates
getting
Seth
that.
because of how he treats Darcy issue.
Oh, and that's the other thing. Okay, so your defense of Seth. So now your fave, Orion, who has known Seth for a very long time, hates Seth. So shouldn't that lend a lot of points towards you hating Seth too? Because you trust your boy, right?
Oh, I love Orion. Anything he says goes.
There you go. So we hate Seth. Yay!
We'll talk next section.
Oh my god, Professor Orion.
And okay, the moment
so he brings them
that
back
Darcy says it's just sex, Tory
to the
should have
party.
stopped and thought about it and went,
Yeah.
something's wrong.
Yeah.
Because Darcy doesn't do that. True, she's not.
But that's how you know Tori
But
is
she-
not
I mean,
in her right
this
mind,
section,
I don't
and
think
for
she
a
is.
little bit, she's been a lot self-centered, and she wants Darcy to support her and tell her all her secrets. And yeah, she's telling
Yeah.
Darcy all these things, but also she needs to vent. It's not necessarily a she's thinking of Darcy thing.
But is she being self-centered, or are the shadows,
Yeah.
or the Shadow Princess, kind of using their sway to alienate her from everybody so that it's easier for them to get her to do what they want? If none of her friends really have the capacity to step in and help her, or that she won't reach out to them.
What do they want from her?
I guess set them free, because that's what Clara wants. Clara, yeah.
Power. They're feeding on her anger
Just a
and
thought.
I plead the
jealousy
fifth.
and sadness.
I just don't know how to which direction
I'm glad,
to go
because when
there.
you don't plead the
Well,
fifth,
you don't have to answer. That was just kind of one of
shit
my...
gets out of hand.
Because when y'all were talking earlier about kind of feeling sorry for Tori, I was like, yeah, that's really... Because I think Tori before would have caught on that, okay, okay, this is some shit. Something's wrong here. So,
I mean, to be fair, even without the shadow, sometimes we just get caught up in our own emotions and we think about how we're feeling and we don't think about how our attitudes are affecting other people.
yeah.
I know that happens to me a lot, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But I think it is a
The
little bit
heirs
of
go
both.
get the potions and they want to see. Darius wants Caleb to spike Tori's drink.
Well,
Is it that or
Because he doesn't want to do
Tory
it
can
because
finally
he's
be
a
like,
fucking
you did this
wimp.
I think definitely.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is he doesn't want to be seen
He's
as
a
the
wimp,
bad
but
guy.
it's also
Because
a
he's
great
a
way to
wimp.
break
Because
them up for
if you're
good.
gonna do it, you gotta commit.
And of course, Darius doesn't even
Right.
offer, and he keeps the antidote to himself. And so Max ends up spiking her drink. Thoughts on what happened? Yeah.
And she ends up dancing with Milton and Diego. Which, can we talk about the fact that Diego is still attached to her by the time that they give her the antidote? Like, why isn't he fighting that?
He's never had the girl's attention, right? I don't know.
I don't either.
I'm still on the I don't
Seth
trust
and his-
Diego train.
What's he supposed to be? A turd with horns?
Oh gosh, yes, I love that. I think yeah.
None of them
Oh, I love
He's
that
always
he doesn't
hat
remember
guy.
his name. I know. It's so funny. I mean, it's like clearly a jab, but that's the funny part about it is he's not memorable.
Milton doesn't know,
And
though.
also,
With the
I'm
dancing?
angry at Milton too for
His
going
friend's
along
just
with it.
excited.
He and his friend are just like, I'm dancing with the
Yeah, I guess that's
princess."
fair.
Yeah.
Maybe so. Still, I don't know, but
Throw my
you
dress
don't think
off and
that
touch
it was a
me.
little bit weird that she was being so. Yeah, that could be perceived as she's drunk. And in that case, I think it's fucked up
To
that
be
they're
fair,
both like
All
continuing
that's
to kind
said
of
is that
take
they're
advantage of it.
suggestively dancing. So nothing.
Yeah.
How about Geraldine
I don't know,
going
I
to
just
help
took
her
note of that and was like,
Max
that's kind
pushing
of-
her out the way?
I don't know.
I was a little tiny itty bitty disappointed in Geraldine for not being like, no, my queen obviously needs my help.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause she
Yeah.
could have put his ass on the floor.
Yeah, that's so fair.
I didn't either. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I don't think
And
I
Seth just
thought
goes
about
up
that
to
in the
Darcy
moment,
and
but yeah.
is like, okay, so
I
I
agree.
own you, so drink this potion. He does not think that she loves Orion. She thinks that she's using him. And he was like, there are very few people I would willingly drink a weird
Right.
potion for in order to save.
Yeah, because he's a dunce
So,
and doesn't
He
realize
does
that they
taste
care about
it, and
each
he's
other.
like, oh, damn, this
Again,
is strong.
very
and she's
self-centered
supposed
of
to
him.
take the whole thing, but after 2 sips, he's like, nope, that's enough. That's
Yeah, I noticed that, but
Yeah, and I still think
I
it
don't
was
know.
selfish.
I still don't think
it
I don't think
was-
it makes it better.
If they went so far down the hole with being insane, if they gave him all of that potion, people would know that wasn't them. People would know something had been done to them, and it kind of takes away from. But if they give them just a little enough to be crazy, then it serves their purpose.
It's like when we talked about the newspaper where you were like, well, obviously people know that this is a lie, but they don't because they believe what the newspaper portrays.
They
And
do, but the
and-
people that are there.
that's true, but then they're followers, so they'll believe whatever they're told. The royalists, they aren't going to believe that. Which I find it's dumb because when they're in King's Hollow, they were like, well, as long as we can make people lose faith in them, they won't have followers and we'll win. They could literally be talking to fake ravens and the royalists would still follow them, I believe. And it was very much rumored that Hale Vega was crazy. So the fact that Darcy is seemingly crazy isn't so much a stretch. Also, I know that y'all hated it when the newspaper, or not really hated it, but was like, meh, when the newspaper article came out. What do y'all think about this being reused? Y'all were like, meh, it's so far such a lie that
What do you
I
mean?
didn't think that it really had that much of an impact. And yet here it comes back with the hallucinations, the potion being used to make them seem that way, the article.
Honestly, I still feel the same about it because I'm actually shocked they didn't do something worse. Because as you can tell in the next few chapters, they're able to flip it on its head easily. Like, I don't really get the newspaper or magazine article
Well, that was all-
route for
That
hurting
was all
them.
Seth.
It did work
And that was
in
not part of
terms
the
of
original
separating Tory and Darcy in a way that that worked. Right. Another reason to fucking hate him. But, so what I'm saying is, but this scene works to separate Tory and Darcy, not the plan necessarily, but I don't really get the newspaper magazine
It's like when Caleb
pathway
was
because
like,
I still
my
think it's
PR person had to
not
intercept
as crazy.
pictures of me
It doesn't
dancing
really,
with you because
you
you were
know?
in that Pegasus costume. Or
Yeah.
the school, maybe.
No, I get it. I just don't think it's as impactful.
Yeah. It just seems like a mean prank.
I mean, as a reader, it's not impactful. Yeah, which is what we were saying before was I didn't really think anything of it because it's boring. What is not boring is our fucking chase through the woods later.
What did y'all think about Seth?
The potions thing is a little bit boring. Yeah.
Creepy.
He
It's creepy.
could've-
It's like somebody
Sweet,
could've
I
left her
guess.
that would have been
After
preferable.
he blackmailed her and,
No.
I didn't say it made up.
It's
doesn't.
like with
It
these
does not make
serial
up for
killers
it.
that will kill
Just because
somebody
he's a
and
fucking
then
psycho
dress them
and
all
is like
nicely
black and
tuck
white.
them in and there you go. That is Seth.
And then brush their hair. Yeah.
Ah.
Exactly.
Darius is
I resent
pissed
the laugh.
yet again,
Ugh.
and he's got no one to be mad at except for himself. Tory is dancing with Milton and Diego, as Tory puts it later. Fucking Diego!
Yep.
Yep, so he goes and gives her the antidote, and she immediately sobers up, and he gives her her
And
dress
whose fault
back,
is it?
and
His
he's
own.
like, let's go back to the dorms and put you to bed. And she's like, nope, I want to go swimming, and flies away.
Yeah.
And they have kind of
She-
a little
and then
moment
she-
on the diving board.
Flies to the pool and just dunks herself in it to get rid of the glitter.
I mean, yeah, it just
Yeah,
it
I
needs
was
to
hopeful.
happen.
I don't know why I was
Need
hopeful, but I was hopeful for a
Knock it
second.
off. I do actually feel like after hearing you guys talk, I actually feel like I understand why they're doing that now. So it serves a purpose. Maybe it's a little less annoying. Because if it is where they are trying to drive a wedge between her and everybody so that the shadows have more of a shot at her, then it would completely make sense. But and you would think Darius would see that too, though. That maybe that was why she's that way.
Yeah. I'm worried. I'm worried about...
I said the back and forth will stop.
I don't know.
I didn't
think
say they'd
that
have a
Brittany said that
resolution.
they're gonna have a resolution, but okay.
What were you gonna say?
And there goes all the hope. All right.
Ruin that.
I was gonna say I don't know if it's a good resolution,
You'd be lying.
and I was gonna say at what cost, and I guess we'll find out.
Tori doesn't have a key to her room.
I don't want to
because she
find
gave it
out
to
anymore. I liked
Sophia.
the beginning of the book.
Oh, sorry.
I don't want to read anymore.
We didn't talk about Sophia and Xavier texting. And I was just like, this is my friend Philip, and he's apparently from a pure-blooded dragon family that emerged as a Pegasus. And they're like, could she be talking about Xavier? I'm like, what other pure-blooded family is there?
Yeah.
Are you dumb? Yeah. Which Tori asked Darius
Yeah.
about later, and then she says she doesn't have her
Whatever
key.
pure-blooded
so they are going
dragon
back
family.
to his room, and Darius gives her a ride on his back.
I got the hiccups.
Tori. Oh, I yawned and then I saw you yawn, so.
Cute.
Which is totally against his father's
Cute
edict.
moment. Wait, what'd you do?
Because, dragons aren't pack horses.
I love that. I thought
Sorry.
somebody was going to see him, though.
He gives Orion a ride all the time.
Yeah, but that's different. So, well, not to his father, but
I was
it would
going to
be,
say, is it different to Lionel?
I would think it'd be even
Yeah.
worse for Lionel if it
Thought
was
they were
a
gonna be
Vega that
caught.
was on his back.
Oh yeah, I think so. So they're in Darius's room. She is reading his fan
Yeah,
mail.
because he's supposed to be his servant.
New moment with the pubes, but this is a new letter though.
Oh.
She
I
burned
immediately
his room
recalled the
down.
first episode when we were talking about it.
Everything burned
I was like,
in there.
oh no. Is it? I don't think it is.
I mean, who would do that? Who would send that kind
Oh,
of
true.
hair?
I will say this.
True.
I mean,
So Taylor
I forgot about that.
Taylor opened up book 7 randomly at work, and of course it the first thing that he saw was pubes. And so there's this whole thing about pubes, and I swear these authors have an obsession with pubic hair. It's in the
I was
Darkmoor
there
series.
for that.
It's in this series.
so it was like real?
Ew.
Okay, then.
Ew.
It's like washer.
Gross.
Darius goes to take a shower, and he
Christy.
sends Seth a message saying, I've taken it back. I don't want to send these videos. And Seth's
Ew.
like, I already did it about an hour ago. Sorry. And so he comes out, and Tori's asleep, and he's like, well, she's
Too
going to hate
late.
me in the morning.
Yeah.
So Might as well enjoy the peace while I can. But he also feels like this was a test that he failed for an Elysian mate.
Probably. So what happens? Well, never mind.
It was.
That's going to be a whole other thing.
All of it has been.
When they talked that's the weird thing, like when they talked in the class, she said that they had to pass the test.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about that.
So
Because
if they're
remember what
not
happens if they
passing
reject
them,
each other?
Then what happens?
Yeah.
Is it just a null and void, maybe?
Tori wakes up in Darius's
I don't
arms
know.
the next morning, and she
Maybe, because then
immediately
hopefully
starts
if they just
looking
don't pass
for
the test,
painkillers.
then there's no
She went all mortal.
consequences. I don't know.
And here's where I get really frustrated. He accuses her of snooping. First of all, you took her to your room.
God, this is one of the stupidest
Second
parts
of
of the
all,
book. I'm
he
sorry.
doesn't know what painkillers are, but he knows who Taylor Swift is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and what's she gonna learn by looking at this? Oh, he gives to charity.
And he has snooped through her shit before. He took her whole fucking atlas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, of course he has to say the
And he
worst
didn't care
things
if she was
possible,
snooping the
like,
night
"Oh, you
before
should've
when
put
she was
out
looking through
more
those
if you were
letters.
gonna exhaust me enough."
He just woke up with a fucking stick up his ass. God, he's the worst for that.
Yeah.
It's just like, where did that come from? Maybe it's the shadows? I don't fucking know, because
Yeah.
I feel like a book ago,
She wasn't
Darius
calling
was
him
not
the fart.
that bad. I don't know. I don't know if it's Tory driving him to say that shit, but she seemed to be fine in that moment. They had a nice night together. They were talking. And then he just
Fart
out of
is
nowhere
talking again.
fucking says that shit. Yeah, the fart. That's just one of the funniest parts of the book.
So Tori leaves Darius and goes and gets her key from Sophia, and naked Tyler answers the door.
I love it. 30 minutes, an open hour.
She's like, "You wish."
They're so cute.
They are cute. You think Xavier's gonna break them up?
No.
Get it, Sophia? They are.
Yeah.
Ooh, yep. I do, actually.
Tori heads to the
But
Atlas.
I kind
and
of hope
gets
not,
swept
because
off
I
her
like
feet by
Tyler.
Caleb yet again.
His chapter?
And
Oh my god, I
he
can't wait to get to his
fusses at her
chapter.
for having to, the PR person having to intercept those photos. And he's like, "Reputation is everything." And she's like, "Well,
Of
you're one
course.
of those guys who cares more about your reputation than having a life and having fun. So I think we're over." Well, Caleb is the one who's like, "I think we're over." And she's like, "Okay, you can't really break up with me because we're not together."
Yeah.
He does. Yeah. Well, later on, he's like, "I need to convince
Yep.
her that she doesn't really actually want to break up with me." She didn't break
But he
up
calls
with you,
it
dude.
breaking up.
You broke up with her.
And he
it
seems sad
wasn't
about
even
it.
a real
I think
breakup
he
because
wanted
you
her
weren't
to
together
fight a little more.
in the first place. He is like deluded himself. But yeah. Darcy is
Yep.
clearly upset. Tori learns about her drink being spiked, and she wants to go
Yeah.
fight them. And this is where I want to
Yes,
slap
he
Tori
has.
a little bit more, because I'm like, first of all, the reason you ruined their reputation before was because you knew you couldn't win in a fight. It's been another couple of weeks and you think you can go beat their asses? Like, they beat your ass a couple of weeks ago. Darcy is absolutely right to say no. Not even if the secret between them didn't exist. She is absolutely right to say no.
Yeah. And I think
Not only that, she can't use the shadows against anybody except for Darius and in private because they're illegal.
yes. And Tori
it's an
has this
automatic
inflated
Darkmoor
idea
penitentiary
of what
sentence
she can
for
do with the
having the
shadows, which is not only bad, but just wrong.
Yeah, that's why I don't know if, she makes
Yeah.
reckless decisions anyways, but it feels like a lot of her decisions are even more so for her. So I feel like something
I don't
else
think she
is at
cares
play
about
there.
that. I think she just thinks that she can just do it.
It's like she just wants to lose again in front of everybody. But Tyler and Sophia show up,
Yeah.
and Tyler's like, "My mom can fix this. It's okay. I'm here for you." So they agree to do interviews.
Yeah.
And,
Tyler, come to the rescue.
Tori doesn't think it's enough.
Yep.
She's really hurt by Darcy, and she storms out. And it's the first time she's ever
Which is good, and they
truly
work
felt
out in their
alone.
favor.
But she's like, "I'm gonna get back at them, starting with that motherfucking dragon." And Darcy runs after her, sort of. First, she goes to the Wailing Woods, and Orion messages her. And they make a plan. She's like, "I'm gonna tell Tori." And Orion's like, "I'm gonna tell Darius."
Oh my god. You just saw it going wrong. It's like evil people that give out their plan before they do it. You're like, stop talking and go.
Yeah.
And Seth forbids her from telling Tory.
I really thought it would go better than it did. I will admit that.
And
I thought it would go better.
when
And I
she
was a
leaves
little hurt by
Seth,
that.
she has this moment with the shadows where, like, later on, Orion asks Tory, what made you feel so hopeless that you almost gave into the shadows? I think that's what Darcy's feeling here. Is so hopeless that the shadows take over. And Darcy's like, I'm gonna tell Tory as soon as I possibly can. Meanwhile, Tori's making laps around the lake, and she's like, I'm gonna take something from Darius. And she heads to the parking lot. And I thought about you the whole time, Lily.
I love that.
Yes! I was like cheering. I was like, yeah, finally! Oh man, what a great scene. Even the way it ends is a really great scene. It was fantastic. From the beginning to where she's trying to rig it up. And it sets off an alarm, and she's like, fuck, and then she gets on it, she races, and then all of a sudden, all the heirs are there, and I just could see it in my head so clearly. I had been waiting for this moment.
Yeah. And so she goes ahead and just lights it up anyways.
And then she's like, I kind of feel bad for the bike.
Yep.
I'm sorry,
Boom,
bike.
crash.
I had to hurt you to hurt somebody else.
Beautiful.
I'm sorry.
Mic drop.
Rest in peace. And then she goes flying off to the Shimmering Springs and hides, and the heirs all show up. Caleb shoots off to see if she went to the orb. Darius specifically sends Max and Seth to her room in Ignis' house to see if she's there. And then he's like, I know you're here. Come out and fight me like a fae.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, are you looking for me?
Mm-hmm.
And boy, do they confront each other.
She's like, I have words. It was the scene.
In the hate sex scene of my dreams.
You texted.
What is sex, mama?
I'm not really a hate sex kind of gal, but
you texted
Darius?
That kiss.
Flocka.
Tell us about that kiss. And which one did you like better? The first one or the ending one?
Well, I texted about the first one because it was the way he just grabbed her in the heat of the moment. I was like, oh my God, the kiss. Like, I was like, oh, the kiss! Thinking, I really thought it was just going to end there. If I'm being honest, I didn't think it would go further than that. But the ending kiss is important. I mean, they have like this moment where they look into each other's eyes and they're like, they mean
and then
it.
I was like, wait,
it's soft.
Which
it's
kiss?
like they welcome each other. And he brings it up later with Orion. He's like, at the end, we had this kiss and it was magical. But yeah, when I texted you, it was about the rough one.
Well, apparently I decided to like go way out from,
You were like, which one? And I was like, stop, don't say
I thought
anything
mine was
else.
behind, so I thought I had to go one further. So
I would have texted the group, but I was like, I don't know where Christy is in it, so I'm just gonna
tender kiss.
text Brittany.
Which
at the time I don't think you had been caught up.
Do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah.
What did you think about the scene?
Yeah, so it was.
I thought it was fine. It was great for like that type of scene. It's not. I want them to get together. I definitely do. I love how. I think that's probably why I like Max and Geraldine. The sex part was good, but the verbiage, that's my favorite. So yeah.
Did you think that this would change how they looked at each other?
I did. Like, I hated how it ended. That was really frustrating. I didn't skip it because I was really worried that somewhere in there was going to be important information, like back and forth.
I wondered if you skipped
with
it.
Darcy and Orion, when I stopped seeing like the dialogue, I'll kind of, maneuver through. But but yeah, for Darius and Tory, I didn't want to miss something. But yeah, I hated how it ended. And they both seem to think the other one was dismissive. It was really, to me, it felt more like Tory was dismissive.
Yeah, she says in there, his eyes hardened, and she immediately was like, oh, he's going to reject me, so I need to do it first. Mm-hmm. That was my thoughts on it. And that's why I'm like, point of view matters.
It ain't gonna happen with Seth.
Yeah.
So Orion sees Darius returning to his room, and he goes and climbs up the building and says, I'm here!
I reject Seth.
Darius comes out and he's like covered in scratches and bites, and he's like, "Oh, dude, what happened?"
Anyways.
And he does note, he's like, "I felt something against my skin a while ago." So yes, if he had BDSM sex, Orion would be feeling it.
There we go. Question answered.
But he knows to ignore it.
Was it just the pain he feels, or does he also get the pleasure? See, that's the thing.
No
just
pleasure.
the pain.
Just the pain.
That sucks.
Because he's supposed to guard him, so he feels the pain, so he knows to go.
Although, what if he
guard
felt
him.
the pleasure and he was sitting next to
Oh,
Washer,
gosh.
and all of a sudden Darius started getting some, and he's like, Washer's teeny weeny would be like, whoa.
Darius admits to Orion that he and Tory fucked, and Orion is like, "Good for you,
God.
dude! Let's go! I can tell you about Darcy,
God.
and it'll be all great!"
Nightmare.
And he's
Nightmare,
like, "No, I
nightmare,
hate her
nightmare.
even more."
Fucking kids.
I'll be honest, this chapter made me feel like Darius was a little whiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Orion goes from elated to like, what? Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Because he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was just
Honestly, I'm
desperate.
surprised Orion let slip that he.
Yeah, though
I'm
I think
surprised that he
Darius would
said
have
to
honestly
Darius
reacted
that he
way
thought that
no matter when
there was a solution
they
with the
brought it up.
twins. I thought that
I
it
don't
was a
know.
bad time
If-
to bring that up. That
Yes.
could have waited.
Literally what I was thinking.
Yeah.
No, I think he would have been like, hells yeah. I think if they had ended that completely differently, he would be like very much into sharing.
Do you think he would have
So,
reacted that way if he and Tori were okay? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I think if he and Tori had made up in a positive, like really good way, I think Darius would stop and
Darius
reconsider.
basically calls Orion a traitor.
least.
And then he's like, "By the way, what did you want?"
Mhm.
So question, do you think that Orion will eventually tell Darius and that Darius will help him?
Yeah, pretty fucked up of him.
I think my concern, and I think I had this with some other part, is that Darius is going to find out another way, and then he's going to be angry that Orion didn't tell him, and he had to find it out from somebody else, and then he's not.
Well,
going
I
to want
thought
to
it
help
up to
him.
this point.
Or he's going to be like, fine, do it on your own.
Now I don't really know.
Mhm.
I think if things were not the way they are currently, which is, I don't know, maybe some issues with the shadows, the issues with Tori, I think he's super stressed. I think there could have been a plausible, yes, a moment where Orion would have told him and Darius would
Also,
put
like to
aside his
point out
own
that Darius
feelings
said he'd
and be
rather
like,
die than share the
I love you,
throne
bro.
with the daughters, the savage
do
king.
your thing. But
Yeah, but he's
I don't
mad
know
right now.
how far he would take that
His
acceptance.
little feelings are hurt, so that may have something to do with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think there's going to be a change in the government of some
I think
sort.
Lionel,
That's not
yeah,
gonna,
exactly. I think Lionel
won't
is
matter
going to go for the
in the long run
throne
how
on his
Darius
own,
feels
and all of those
about
people
the
that made fun
throne.
of
That's my
the
theory, at
twins
least.
and tried to
Is
put them
that
down are
the
gonna now
throne
come and
or
ask them for
whatever
help in
it
taking Lionel
is,
down.
the counselor position, the throne, whatever it is going to be just tossed out the window. Yeah, I think they're all going to have to work together, and
So Orion goes back to
And
his chalet, which
I
what is
think
a chalet?
that there won't be a counselor
like a fancy
position or
cabin.
throne to save. I think
Exactly.
at that point
Or
they're
his
going to have
flat.
to remodel the vision.
Oh, I just said it's a fancy cabin. A rich person's, I think.
Good fucking question. Is it not his apartment?
Gabriel's there waiting for him with pizza.
Sorry, Chrissy. What did you say, Chrissy? I always thought that was like a cabin in the woods or like a cabin in the mountains.
It's very implied that he knows what's going on.
Yeah,
Do
that
you
shit
mean
is so
in
funny,
terms
man.
Of him and Darcy being together, or
Gabriel
them being
knows what's
blackmailed?
going on, but doesn't want to.
Well, yeah, he's
At least it seems.
blatantly.
But he
Gabriel
wants
knows
either
all.
Orion to tell
He's
him, or
done
he
the
knows
wink
that
wink
Orion
with
is trying to protect
Darcy.
him. So he doesn't say anything. Them being together.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
they talk about burning the couch, he was like, "Oh, we're gonna need a fire element. Why don't you get Darius?" And he was like, "Nah, I got
Yeah.
a fire crystal."
I forgot about that. So
And then it
I
was-
guess also what you
Well,
said,
then
that
it's like
they're in hot water about
you
it.
kind of give this
Maybe not the details, but he
moment
knows
from
that there's shit
Gabriel,
going down.
like he does know. So it's very heavily implied that Gabriel knows all. We don't know exactly what he knows.
Yeah, so he doesn't know all the details. Oh, I think I missed that moment that I always understood it as
Yeah.
like Gabriel is a
And I can't
seer,
say
which
more without
means
things
he probably
being
gets
said.
glimpses of things,
So-
not full pictures. So he might know that shit is happening
He's
between
just a very powerful seer.
Orion and friends, but he might not
Huh?
know that it's between Darius
does
or
come in.
you know what I mean?
Oh God, Washer. So he wants them to go for a dip in the pool first. And then he just invites himself over for the game.
Okay.
Which Orion, it's supposed to be his
And then
favorite
Washer
team
tries to
against
come
their
in.
rival. And Orion's just like checked out.
I said, and then
which
Washer
never
tries to
happens.
come in.
And Gabriel calls him on it later. He's like, clearly you're in love. He's like, no, I'm just in trouble. Same thing. Oh. And Washer talks about Gabriel's wife.
Poor guy.
Big mistake. Again, Gabriel comes from the gang-run city of this country.
Good stuff.
He's not my favorite in that book. I love him in this. He's just a little whiny in the other.
Yeah.
So you have the head of the Aspera
Gabriel
clan.
makes me want to read
You
those
have the
books.
head of the Lunar Brotherhood, which are rival gangs who hate each other.
I know, but
You have the
but I need to know if he's like that. Are the other ones like that?
head of the night,
to
or
know.
it's not that he's not the head of the Night family, but a member of the Night family, which is a family of known thieves.
Askura, so the Shadow Clan.
And then Gabriel Knox. Gabriel Knox and Leon Knight. And their love interest is a vampire girl with purple hair.
Oh, I love that.
Lilac hair.
I love thievery. Love it.
Just whatever you used last time, don't use that again. No, because you had an allergic
I want to
reaction.
dye my hair again, but I think my light brown will not go well with
Okay.
the blue. So I think I'd have to dye it darker brown first, and I don't really want to do that.
Oh, how about when
'cause it turned
Washer
green?
rubs his nipples on Lance's window?
Oh,
You in there?
colored dyes, like crazy colors, don't have those bad
Well,
chemicals
leaves
in them. But
The
yeah,
impressions.
if I did the brown,
Yeah.
I would be more careful. I would do henna. Yeah.
Lance is like, how am I supposed to wash that?
Yes. What did you say with a
Water magic and a long
Rag.
cloth on a cord.
long? Yeah, with a rag on a long
Christy's
pole.
Yeah.
face.
That was great. Love that line.
Now, I have a very
Yeah,
serious
the nipple
question, guys.
impression made me laugh out loud because it
Would y'all
was
eat Washer's
so
chocolate
ridiculous.
If I had been drinking and had some pizza ahead, then probably.
I'd need to know if he made them personally, because if he touched them with his
Disgusting.
hands, I don't know if I could
Uh-huh.
eat them without throwing up.
It depends. If I had already eaten some chocolate and I was good, maybe not. If I had been on like a diet or something, they
I
smell
think I would
good.
have dumped them immediately, just like Orion.
And they burned the couch.
Like
Poor
instantly.
Ryan's couch.
Who
Had to
knows
deal
what the
with
fuck you put in those?
that ass sitting on it.
Well, his ass has been on it before, though. He's come over.
Yeah.
And oh my God.
He
and
doesn't
him
come over though.
bending
He
over
sticks
in
his
front
dick
of
in the
Knox.
door, but
I loved that scene when he was,
That's
his
so
little
funny to
jangly
me.
balls were in front of him when he's bending over in front of him. I had somebody
Yeah.
do that to me on a flight.
He was just tired of it. It was too much.
Big
It was like a
lady, like,
quota
really
that
tall.
he was
She was, like,
filling. And
6 feet tall, and she and her new husband were on honeymoon to Hawaii or something, and she was
Oh my
they were
God.
both fucking drunk. They were arguing, and she had gotten up to do something and bent over, and I mean, her ass was like right here in my face, and yeah, it's funny, but not. I was like, please don't fart, please don't fart, please don't fart. Yeah, it's a big tushy.
all right. So Darcy still can't sleep, and her drawings that she's trying to do are turning very dark. Tyler sends her a message that her interview is later that night, but she also gets a message from Seth beckoning her to the common room, where his pack is waiting, and he places a spell on her. What did y'all think of her cottontail? He also steals her atlas so that she can't look
The
up
bunny
any
spell?
counter spells.
of course, I loved that Orion had a field day with it.
I didn't say all of his actions
Oh my
were
gosh.
justified. I'm just saying there might be some
Flocka?
ulterior motives. I'm just saying, I didn't say it was gonna change your mind. I'm saying that
Not cool. Are you gonna
I don't
tell me
see
why that
enjoyment
was
out of the
actually him
POV
being
that
nice to
I-
her?
That's the only POV that we've gotten.
I'm just saying.
I think it's a little.
I'm just saying you said that his
colored by
POV was going to change my mind, and I
That's
don't know
just my
about that.
thoughts. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're right. But anyway, yeah. And
Nah.
she's like, I need you to call Orion. He's like, no, he won't come. He's a son of a bitch. I can't argue with that.
So Diego and Darcy. So
Yeah,
Diego
Stella
and
is
Darcy have a
bitch.
moment whenever she's
Just
trying to
saying.
fix the spell on her, though.
And a bloodsucker. So Orion sends Diego to go get some ingredients for him, and in the meantime, he squeaks her cottontail
He was like, "Well, you're right about that."
and gives her a lesson
damn
on
sanguijuela.
constellations. The one on her back is a rabbit constellation that the
And a bloodsucker,
constellation
technically.
Orion hunts. I think it's funny though. He was like, maybe I'll like you if you turn into a full bunny. I can carry your bread in my pocket. And I was like, furry.
He was like, do you know what chases
You
that
wouldn't
one?
like
The
kissing
hunter.
her.
And I was like,
Fucking her.
oh, if only you
hope.
guys could be together. This would be a fun scene. Damn.
I think he just loves
Ugh.
everything Darcy does.
True. I think he was a little hurt by the fact that he was like, at least you won't get into trouble. And she was like, you are my trouble. He was like,
Gosh.
fine.
He's a flirt.
So yeah. And Diego comes back and he's like, he took 10 house points.
Yep.
You could give them back. I like Tory's boo-hoo with the house points. Because again.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most of it.
So Orion fixes her and Diego drops his pin. They accidentally touch hands.
Yeah.
And Darcy
He's
is
like,
drawn into
I
the
could,
shadow
but I
realm.
won't.
Do you think it was an accident?
Maybe.
What happens? Nothing happens.
Maybe not. And the hat's supposed to stop him from... The Shadow Princess is there, and we learn that she wants help. She thinks
What
she
was
can
he
return
doing
to
with his
the
fucking
realm
hat
of the
if it was an
Fae if
accident?
they build a bridge of stars.
Exactly. So,
And it has to be performed
that's a
on
little
New Year's Eve.
suspicious.
Of course. You don't think he can fix her?
Diego works for the Shadow Princess. Of course it does.
Pull her out or let her out?
I immediately didn't trust that bitch. I was like,
I don't know.
no way. And I love you, Orion, baby, but no. I think he could pull her out of the Shadow Realm.
So
but I
Orion
don't know
comes
if
in
that's
and
gonna
saves her and
be a
notices
good idea.
her face, and he's like, "Oh, it's my sister."
Yeah.
He actually
A plague
has some hope
upon the
the first
Fey
time
world.
in 4 years, though.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, I'm having to think about what I
Oh
say.
my god, Clara.
Again,
We have to save
what's
her.
she living on? Because, like I said, in
But
the
that
boys'
makes me
point
sad
of view,
because I feel like
Orion
that shit is gonna be
bites a
squashed.
student and says that they
That makes
taste
me
like
so
split,
sad.
and he doesn't get very much nutrition from them. I don't even know if he gets any. So
A lot of silence from Brittany tonight.
vampires, I don't think they can feed off of nymphs.
I know.
So if this is a realm full of nymphs, who's she feeding off of to survive?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Why at this point she wouldn't be so messed up?
I think he says that he thinks she thinks she can come back, so therefore she must be alive.
So I don't know. I don't know why he thinks she's alive, if I'm being honest. Why does he assume?
Tory is also having problems with the shadows. She gets pulled in so deep that she's on this cliff with the Shadow Princess, and she's like, "Jump with me!" And she almost does until
I
her
don't
phoenix
know
burns her out.
about
And
that.
she comes out of it with claw marks on her arm.
Doesn't sound very friendly.
Yeah.
As Diego points out later, they simmer around Darcy. They blaze around Tory.
Yeah. I that concerns me about the claw marks because that means she's going deep enough that she can become physical in the realm. So I think it's like she's just like one step away.
I don't trust them. I feel like there's some sort of game plan there.
Yeah. It confuses me though because I don't trust Diego, but then he's telling Darcy stuff like that and I'm like, I don't understand. I don't know if I should trust you or
And
not.
Tyler.
I don't know. I don't think I do for now, but I'm still getting mixed signals.
So Tory goes to Orion for help healing the wound because it won't stop bleeding. He
Yeah,
kind of is a
probably.
mess.
Probably.
Wearing yesterday's
At this
clothes.
point, probably the only person we can trust
a
is
little
Sophia
upset.
and Geraldine. Maybe Tyler, for the most part.
Orion hugs Tory too.
Yeah, this stuff is eating him alive. Yeah, poor guy.
And I love that. She's like, dude, I'm going to be late to class. And he's like, that's my class.
Oh, that
It's
moment
not like
was
you're gonna get in
sweet.
trouble. Come on.
You just gotta
You'll still probably beat
feel
me
for
there.
him because he's so elated at the idea of saving his sister. And just as a reader, you've got to know there's no way it's
In
possible.
Orion's class,
It's so
Tory
sad.
accuses Darcy of ignoring her messages, and Darcy admits that Seth stole her atlas, and things just spiral from there. And Tory ends up switching seats with Tyler.
And she probably does. Or she does.
Yeah. She's not thinking.
I think I think it's the shadows. I think that's, I don't know. Yeah,
Why
I think, that's
doesn't
why I think I
that
feel like they're alienating her.
flag as a red flag? Why doesn't she see that as a Darcy is being targeted?
He's feeling more and more hopeless
I
every
don't
day.
understand where that disconnect is.
All right, so the heirs are back in
Yeah.
King's Hollow, most of them. Max is off chasing Geraldine.
It's gotta be, right?
Caleb is doom scrolling on Facebook, and he comes across a post by Tyler. her.
Yeah.
He
They're really
was
hurting
in the
her.
steam room and somebody else was in there with him.
I know,
my
it's so
God.
sad.
I mean, if somebody wants to bring it up, it's on my phone, so.
Well, the one that I liked was that We So Naked.
We so naked.
We should read that passage.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
And the rest of the stories on
It's all the
Facebook are mostly
hashtags
about
that
the
kill me. I don't have a
Vegas,
physical or
and there's
ebook
hardly
version,
any
so I
mentions
can't, but
about Pegasus
the
fetishes or
hashtags were
griffin
making me
dumps
laugh.
or flea-ridden alphas. So
Yeah,
Caleb
we
decides
so
that
naked.
they won.
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't understand
Hashtag
how
we
they
so
think that they
naked.
won, because
I
literally
think that's how the
there was a
audiobook
long time when the
does
Pegasus
his voice.
fetish, griffin dumps, and flea-ridden alphas was the main story. You've allowed this for 2 seconds. It's a premature victory, clearly. But he also feels like a shitty person, which, valid. When a notification comes up, the Vegas did their very first interview and they spun the story. And
Yeah.
it makes Darcy come out looking like a saint.
It is.
For
Yeah.
animals.
And it makes Tory
Good.
look so hot that
Yeah.
even Caleb is jealous. And he's like, I've already had her, but damn, I want to be one of those guys. And Darius is like,
Good for
what
them.
is she
I was
wearing?
like, you go, girls.
Yeah.
Love that.
I love that she's
Even though
like,
it's weird.
from the guy who took photos of me and posted them without my permission. And Seth just cares about who's doing PR. Like, who's doing this? They're
That
not
was
supposed to
another
know.
moment where I was like, and since when do you think you can control her? What?
So they track Tori down in the Ignis common room and try to talk to her, and she's just like, I'm reading. Give me a moment. Caleb does his whole, sweetheart, we need to talk to you. She slams the book shut on him.
I don't understand why they all had to go.
Honestly, I think Caleb just
Yeah.
wanted to see Tori.
Ugh.
Seth just wants his answer, and Darius wants her to say, I'll take the photos
Yeah.
down. And this is when Caleb's like, maybe I can change her mind about breaking things off between us, when he was the one who broke things off. And she ends up telling them all to fuck
Caleb's a
off.
mess. Honestly, at this point, it's like, Caleb, let it go. I'm really shocked he didn't let it go when he found out about Pegasus thing. If I'm being honest, I thought that was going to be the end of it, and it wasn't.
He tells Seth here that there's nothing like it with the hunt and her body and her blood all into one. Nothing compares. But then they end up hunting, like Caleb ends up hunting Seth. And Caleb said it was even better than Tori, even though no sex was involved. Even though Seth totally is like, are you sure you don't want sex?
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure? We could be fuck buddies. It's fine.
I think they could.
Seth is so hot
Yes,
for
he
all his
is.
friends.
Oh, my God.
But there is that moment where Caleb remembers that kiss in the shimmering spring.
He's reminiscing.
year.
I just think, that might happen again.
What did y'all think about that hunt?
You talking about Seth?
Yeah.
I didn't think that much about it, really.
Yeah.
It was way more physical than the normal
Yeah.
hunt
It was like
with
play.
Tori.
Well,
Sorry.
I mean, that's... Yeah. Yeah, but that's...
So they had to heal each
yeah,
other
well,
for it.
wrestling. I'm sorry.
But isn't that why he liked it? Is because he could be full out with
Yeah.
Seth? He didn't have to worry about hurting him?
And Seth likes it rough.
Yes, he does.
All right, so December comes around. Everything's all magically pretty with the, glitter and the icicles and the everlasting fire. And normally Darcy likes Christmas, but she doesn't think she can enjoy it without Tori. And they haven't talked in
This is crazy to
months.
me.
And Orion hasn't talked to Darius in months.
That doesn't make sense after their bond is explained, how they wouldn't have gone crazy by now.
They're physically in the same location, but I'm sure it is tweaking at them. But they do, they have class together, so
Yeah, but it sounds like there's more to it than that.
there is.
So,
But the driving crazy, though, the actually going crazy is when they're forcibly separated and can't be with each other.
no.
It's just crazy to me that the twins aren't really talking, if I'm being honest. I can't believe that Darcy hasn't tried a little bit harder, or Tori hasn't tried to apologize, or it's just hard for me to believe.
The stupid thing is, for me, Darcy needs to go to Tori and say, hey, Seth is hanging this over my head.
Yes.
If you act like you know,
Yes.
then I'm screwed over. You
Yeah,
don't know
there are
this.
ways. I don't get it.
Yeah.
All right. So in astrology class, they examine the horometer, lovely name, for the first time. It's a device that predicts all the horoscopes and or produces all the horoscopes and can predict whether or not people are nebular allies or astral adversaries and other star bonds. It can't predict Elysian mates, though. So, of course, Zenith makes Tory and Darcy do it, and surprise, they're nebula allies.
That was so stupid to me.
Yeah. Even if they're not, they're twins, so...
I mean, if it had come up that they were like, that they hated each other, that would be a little bit different. If they were destined to, that would have at least been interesting, but yeah.
Diego mentions to Darcy that the shadows are kind of overtaking Tory, and she needs to go talk to her because she's the only one. It doesn't go very well.
Yeah, they end up having a big fight again, and I just wish Darcy would have grabbed her arm and just been like, Tory, listen to me. This is what's going on, just like you said.
And Darcy has a free period, so she decides to spend it in the library. Orion messages her, and he's eating a peach. It's like, I wish it was yours. I'll never look at peaches the same way I'll never look at honeydew the same.
Yes! Castile supremacy!
Seth shows up and he commands her to be nice to him, which is dumb. As she points out, it's not like it would be real. So he ties her to a tree, and then Max shows up and she burns his eyebrows off.
And then she runs.
That was great.
Hey Max, are you surprised? I can't tell.
Oh man.
But the Geraldine part.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Yeah, she runs to the library, hides under Geraldine's table, and Max comes in and he's like, Russ, tell me where she is. Like she would
Good
say.
stuff.
Max is like, I'll make it worth your while. And she's like, unless you die,
She's bold.
I'll see it.
All right.
There's really nothing that he can offer to make Russ give up Darcy. So, next sections, do you think that Tory and Darcy are going to make up?
It might not be the way we want, but I do think they're going to have to make up.
What about Christmas? How do you think
I
that's
hope
gonna
there
go?
are fun gifts that are exchanged. I am excited, and I have high hopes. I hope somebody gets a sex toy.
And New Year's? Will they save Clara? Will she come back?
I think they'll bring whatever it is back.
Yeah,
but I don't
same.
know if it's Clara.
Same thoughts. All right, that's it for today's section of the book. We hope that you guys enjoyed the show. Next episode, we'll be discussing Book 4, Shadow Princess, chapters 33 through 47, which is the end of the book. New episodes drop every week.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. That like and follow are super important for us to be able to continue to bring you new episodes each week. So please, please, please do so. Thank you for listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. We'll see you next week.
Happy reading, listeners. Don't stay up too late.